It's showtime.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
Gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
What do you say there, Bob? Guy like that make it? Yes or no? I mean, sometimes I just look at a guy, and I know this fella's not gonna make it.
Everybody gotta die sometime.
Alright, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena, the post-fight show. Alright. Yeah, Trap Media, if you want to join, what's the tag number? Holy shit, I don't even know, man. There's a link in the description. Join the BDA group, and then I'll add you as a friend, and then I can call you. Alright. Okay, Mark says he can join. Alright. Gypsies in the chat, Triple JJJ, Cachinello, AA Boxing and Blunts, Same Breed, Doc. What else? Who else do we have here? Overhand. Guys, welcome to the show. It's a very interesting show because now we have seen Usyk in a heavyweight fight, a professional boxing fight. The opponent wasn't the greatest. He took that fight at the last minute. I think Usyk looked okay. He looked pretty fast. But some people are already making assumptions or, how should I say, big conclusions just based on this fight. I don't think we can fully assess what Usyk's career is going to be at heavyweight based on this single fight. All right. Hold on. I'm writing solo right now, so bear with me, people. Alright, so the phone lines are open. Yeah, that's right, the phone lines are open right now if you want to call in and give us your opinion on what you saw yesterday. Were you impressed? Were you disappointed with Usyk? Do you think Usyk lacks power? Do you think he's too fast for these big fat heavyweights that we have right now? Call in and let us know, alright? Also in the chat, you also obviously can ask me anything or basically give us your take on this fight. Alright. Let's see. Well, what did you think about this fight, guys? Let's start with the chat. Now that we have time before everybody starts joining the show, and then you guys in the chat don't get your say. What the hell did you think about Usyk? Where's my chat? Where's my chat? Alright. Sorry, guys. Alright, what do you guys think? Let's see what people are saying. What's up, Blue Collar Sports TV? Alright, all boxing talk and news is saying Usyk got exposed. Alright. No more... Now more people know he's in oh my god. Now more people know he is competition for the heavyweights and gonna cause problems. Okay. So Usyk got exposed, says all boxing talk and news. Who else? Cachnello says Usyk let Chaz off a couple of times. He was getting some rounds in. Yeah, that's what the commentators kept saying. And there was something wrong with Usyk's arm. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was like trying to loosen that left arm. They say he had an operation or some. He had torn his bicep on his right arm. So it wasn't the left one. So I don't know why he was doing that with his left arm. So some say he was trying to get that raw stuff. So maybe he did let Chaz off the hook for a little bit. Gypsy Boxing Style says, nah, Bivol is great on bias. Alright, we're gonna talk about Bivol as well. But let's stick with the topic over here. St. Breed says the LDBC have had this planned all week to say he was exposed. That's a good point. I mean, no matter what, I mean, if Usyk would have knocked out Chaz, I mean, Chaz was a late replacement and he would have been called a bum. And don't get me wrong, the guy's like, he wasn't in fighting shape, right? I think he was his highest weight ever. Older now, obviously, so you gotta take into account that Usyk wasn't really fighting a guy that was ready. He didn't have a training camp. Boxing Spectrum says he needs to gain about 5 to 7 pounds extra, in my opinion. When Usyk said that he was moving up to the heavyweight division, I was expecting him to maybe put on, yeah, like you said, an extra 5 pounds, maybe come in there at 220. He made a decision to weigh in at 215. Maybe he'll put on more weight later when he fights much bigger guys. I'm talking about guys that are like not only higher in weight but taller. Because let's be honest, Witherspoon was the same height as Usyk. The only difference is the other guy was a little bit bigger and way fatter. I mean, he was fucking fat. Well, not fucking fat. Like, no, he wasn't fat like fucking Steve Vernon in that second Wilder fight. Let's be honest, that was embarrassing. Alright, Gonzalo, I'm gonna call you, alright? You can join the show. Where the hell is Gonzalo? Alright. Also, let me check the fucking... Sorry, I have to stop swearing over here. Let me check the phone lines. Alright, nobody has called yet. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, Gonzalo, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, welcome to the show. Alright, what did you think about Usyk's performance?
It was a good performance. We all knew that he was going to go in there and break his opponent down. In the first round, he got clipped with a good right hand.
Mm-hmm.
He shook it off. He took it well. And he went back to boxing. He could have probably took the guy out 4th or 5th round. But he probably decided to put in some extra rounds. Shake off the ring rust. And he did well.
Okay. Why did you say... Why do you think that he needs to put on more weight?
Because I don't think it will bother him. He puts it in the right areas, like around the shoulders. And just get a little stronger. You know, like when Juan Manuel Marquez fought Pacquiao after he had fought Mayweather. I'm not saying that same thing. Obviously, Marquez was older and he was pudgy when he fought Mayweather. Like later, he looked like really in shape, especially because he was doing those presses with the weights where he grabbed the bar,
yeah,
pushed it upwards,
yeah,
vertically,
yeah.
Those type of training exercises with the weights. I'm not saying like a whole lot, where he can like build up the girth around his shoulders and like traps, I think would suit him well.
Okay. Were you disappointed with Usyk's power?
No, because basically, what is it? 75% from the cruiserweights, and here it's gonna be more of the same, to where he's going to chip away, knock these guys out once he's got them like broken down.
All right. Fair enough. I was impressed with the speed, but then again, was it because the opponent was Chaz Witherspoon? You know what I mean? What do you think of? What do you think about the speed? What's your assessment on that? Can he make it in the heavy division? This is gonna be a huge problem for other heavyweights.
This wasn't like the best opponent to gauge many things. Yeah, he looks quick, he's fleet-footed. The guy he fought was slow. I was surprised with Chaz Witherspoon though, like his ability to counter. He caught Usyk with one good punch, but I mean, this is boxing. You're going to get hit, and he's got good power. Well, you know, Usyk shook it off. He took it well. I mean, he didn't decide to stay in there in the pocket and trade, you know. But then again, it's also the first round. You know, you're not going to go in there balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And was I disappointed in anything? The guy's going to face a tougher challenge next, and that remains to be seen. Yeah, a lot of people like to, you know, like be quick to criticize.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me get Trap Media in here. He hasn't been on the show for a while now. Huge Baby Miller fan. Oops. We lost. Oh, I'm here. Gonzalo, can you hear me? What the fuck happened? Gonzalo, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the hell happened.
Something happened.
Yeah, alright. Let me just get Trap Media in here. Alright. Calling Trap Media now. I think you guys remember Trap. What the hell? Where is Gonzalo now? Gonzalo. Anyways. Yeah, Trap, are you there?
Yo,
what's up? It's been a while now. Give us your take on the fight.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, it's pretty much the Usyk I've been seeing. To break you down. I mean, I wasn't really impressed. Heavyweight for Usyk.
Man, you're breaking up, man.
I think he gives Miller a problem because of.
Yo, you're breaking up, man. I can barely hear you.
But I think it's top.
Jesus Christ, Trap! I can't hear you, man. You're breaking up.
DJ.
All right, what the hell's going on here? Yo, you there? Can you hear me? Alright, man. Hey, listen, I can't hear you, man. You're breaking up, and it's not. The volume is very low on your end.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's way better. Alright, go ahead. Alright, now I can't hear you. Oh man, you're breaking up, man.
Hold on, let me give me a minute. Let me fix
something. Alright, we have a phone call. I think it's Vinny, Mac. Vinny, what's up? Is that you?
Yes, how are you doing, Mr. Bucho?
Pretty good, man. Can you speak a little bit louder or turn up your volume?
Yes, is this better?
A little bit. Jesus, where are you, man? Are you driving?
actually driving right now. I just wanted to say Usyk has no chance in hell. All right, for your topic. Yes.
Well, why is that?
Yes, I am driving.
Why doesn't he have a chance?
Yes, he doesn't have a. The reason he doesn't have a chance is because he has no power. Wilder has the reach advantage. He's too big, too strong. As soon as he hits Usyk will do the stinky leg, and Wilder will knock him out, guys.
Okay. Or you
smart man talking.
Vinny,
what's up, guys?
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, what's up, guys? Let me just deal with Vinny over here. Vinny, did Usyk do anything that impressed you?
Yes, he did. He actually moved pretty well. And I thought he did a great job in his head movement, making Witherspoon miss a lot. But again, it's Witherspoon. This is not Wilder here, okay, guys?
Okay, so what's your prediction for Usyk for in the future in the heavyweight division?
Yes, I think he's going to end up fighting a guy like Joseph Parker next. I think that would be a good test for him before jumping up against the Lion and Wilder. I think he needs to fight a guy that's, going to fight back, basically, and have some defense. I think a guy like Joseph Parker would be perfect for Mr. Usyk. I do think he's a little bit of a threat for the heavyweight division, but not much. I don't think he has that much power at heavyweight. A guy like Wilder would have serious issues with because Wilder's so awkward.
Okay, so Wilder knocks him out?
Yes, of course. Wilder will knock him out, guys. He will knock him out.
All
I
right,
will
Vinny.
be shocked if Usyk wins. And if Usyk wins, then I'm going to have to put him as my number one pound for pound if he were to beat a monster like Deontay Wilder, which is not going to happen. I can guarantee you that, Mr. Bucho.
All right. Well, Vinny, thanks for the call. Call back again later, right?
Yes, no problem. You have a good day, Mr. Bucho.
You too, man. Take care. All right, that was Vinny Mac. All right, okay, we have Trap Media, we have Gonzalo, and we have Gypsy Boxing Style. All right, guys, welcome to the show again. All right, who wants to go first?
Me.
Let's Trap Media. Trap Media, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much we know what Usyk is. He breaks you down. He's great footwork. He's angles. We understand all that. I think against the Wilder, I agree with Vinny. He gets put down. It's easy work. But I think against most of the heavyweights, he could fare a good chance. I like to see him in Fury. I like to see that matchup with the boxing skills. I think against Baby Miller and Joe, I think him and Joe Parker is a good fight. I like to see that. I don't think Big Baby has the stamina to compete with him. Because one thing, even though I might not believe in Usyk as much as you guys, but I like his conditioning, and I think his conditioning will get him past a lot of these heavyweights because he can drag them in muddy water, and maybe later on in that fight, a lot of them will break down. Now against Wilder, I think Wilder puts him down easy, but against most of these other heavyweights outside of Wilder and Fury, I give him a chance.
Now, when you say Wilder puts him out easy, it's like, how do you see that fight playing out? Like, do you mean he's gonna once he lands, it's over, or is Wilder gonna lose?
I think once he touches him, it's a wrap. Because even in a Bellew fight, it's not like he just outboxed Bellew. Bellew, for the most part, while he had energy, he was whooping him. But when he got tired, he drained him out. Wilder's not gonna have I get tired problem, and it's not like Usyk can't get hit. So once he gets touched, I just don't see him. I just don't see him going too far. But against most of the other heavyweights, I give him a great chance.
All right, All right, McGregor, go ahead because you have like just a few minutes, so go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
All right, yo. What's happening to everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat? This whole stuff, man. Like Usyk's been exposed because he made a guy 30 pounds heavier than him, and has still not landed him 12-1. It's ridiculous. I don't know how to do this on the panel. Shout out to you, man. My name's Mark, but I kind of disagree with the idea of Wilder just beats him, but he's good enough to fight all the other dudes out there. He goes, he's left. It's kind of simple enough. Like Usyk, he's a body puncher. He's kind of a mover. He's kind of a slow you down kind of guy. He goes in and out of pocket. He's going to get hit when he's fighting on the front foot. Wait till a heavyweight has to chase him and watch how he gets tagged up. People are talking about the Tony Bellew thing. There isn't a heavyweight in the world who can move like a fucking light heavyweight. There isn't one. Tony Bellew's a light heavyweight who moved up to cruiser, who moved up to heavyweight. He's an extremely fast fighter with amazing reflexes. People looked at David Hayes, one of the fastest punchers at heavyweight over the last 10 years. Tony Bellew made him look ordinary for the first 3 rounds before the injury even kicked in. He was out jabbing him, he was moving out of the pocket, he was making him look really slow, really slow. And even with Usyk's game plan was working. He was walking into Tony Bellew, and as Tony Bellew was catching him with the more eye-catching shots, Usyk was applying his trade. He was landing those body shots. He was slowing them down, and guess what happened? He sent him to the shadow realm at the end of the fight against Witherspoon. Mate, he outlanded the dude 12-1. What more can you ask? It doesn't matter if who the guy really is. He outlanded him 12-1. How many people do that? Wilder went 9 rounds with Arthur Spielka. Spielka's nowhere near as good of a boxer as Usyk, or as fast, or as fluid. I mean, it's easy enough. I was telling people all along, before all of this shit would even happen, that everybody was going to start saying, oh, Usyk's this, Usyk's that, he won't be able to take on Deontay Wilder before he even has a fight, and that's what happened. And as soon as he got hit with 1 or 2 shots from a guy, by the way, in 3 of those rounds, that dude didn't even land a jab. He didn't even land a jab in 3 of those rounds. And people are like, the dude's exposed. It's ridiculous. People don't know shit about this damn sport. That's my take, Bucho. I gotta go. Peace, guys.
All right, thanks.
Perfect.
All right, great call.
Can I say something?
No,
Can I
man.
say something?
Fuck off. All right, go ahead.
What's up, bro?
What's up? Go ahead, man.
Bro, look, man, it's too quick to tell whether he's gonna Wilder knocks him out. But based off this performance, just this performance alone, because this is his first fight, I would say he will. But that doesn't mean anything because it's his first fight. He hasn't fought in this weight for a while, so he might not be as efficient. Maybe the second fight would automatically tell you that, depending on the competition he's fighting against, will tell you that, yeah, that's the case. He gets KO'd by Wilder because he did get hit with a lot of right hands by Witherspoon, and Witherspoon's slow.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that in the very first round, bro, and he lost that first round. I don't know about the second one that Scout is talking about, but the first one, he clearly lost that round. I don't care what you say. He lost that fucking round. And I was like, man. And then I compare him to somebody like Bivol. I know it's divisions below. It's 2 divisions below. I understand this. But Bivol, man, is that motherfucker on a different level. That motherfucker hasn't lost a goddamn fucking round ever since I fucking... He has not lost a fucking round, man. He has not lost a fucking round. He's on a different... I don't know what he is. He's on a different level. On a different level. And he did that to Pascal. He did that to... Oh, my God, bro. That fool's on a different level. Well, anyways, that's a different story. We're talking about Usyk, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about later about the
video. Yeah. Usyk, bro. Usyk, he's good. He's great. But against these other heavyweights... He beats Ruiz in my eyes.
Yeah.
He'll beat Parker. He'll probably even stop Parker. He beats a lot of these dudes. But there's a Tyson Fury. He'll have a lot of trouble. He might have a close fight where Tyson Fury takes it, and Wilder probably KOs him because he's open for that right hand.
Yeah. And what you think?
Based off this performance only. I'm going off of this performance only. And
what you think he'd do against the Dillian White?
Yeah, that's another guy I was thinking about. Dylan White, the style is just a bad matchup because Dylan White, you saw what he did to Chisora, right? He got pummeled, and then he just catched him. He caught him, and that was it. And Chisora got a chin. It's not like Chisora got no chin whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That to me is like it's a possibility Dylan can knock him out. I'm not saying he can for sure. It's a possibility.
All right,
You know
guys,
what
we're
I mean?
gonna have a lot of people on this show, so we're gonna like move on from person to person, and now we have a phone call. I think it's Rasclot. Rasclot, are you there?
Yeah, this is Ross Clark, the one and only, the Wilder fanboy killer.
Oh, okay. Well, the fanboy killer. That's interesting. So, what do you make of this fight, of this performance?
I mean, listen, this was a sparring match. It's nothing more than a sparring match. Why are we taking this fight serious as if he was in there fighting against the killer? You think if he fought the way Witherspoon, he's going to fight Wilder that way? What kind of idiotic, stupid shit is that? Listen, anybody who's Wilder, Usyk would struggle against Wilder, but would defeat everybody else. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my whole life. Wilder hasn't even fought everybody else to even assess the fact that
The thing, bro, Rascal. The thing is, though, he wasn't supposed to. Rascal.
I've never seen Wilder fight anybody on the skills, in the boxing skills, is Usyk. You can't even match it. Not even Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is not even moving and throwing punches like Usyk. It's a fact.
Rascal, listen, bro, listen. It's not that we're automatically saying that Wilder knocks him out. I like Wilder, but yeah, I think he's a clown. But the thing is, though, it's not that we automatically say he knocks him out. He wasn't supposed to lose a single goddamn round against this guy, in my opinion. He wasn't supposed to lose a goddamn round against this dude. He lost that first round. I can slow play that shit, and I'll show you that he lost that first round. He's not supposed to lose any rounds. See, when you talk about, so when you talk about,
Precise.
the clown from is this Benny the Wise?
Oh, hey, is this the guy that picked Vanes to beat Triple G?
Oh,
I did not pick Vanes, motherfucker. I said Triple G by decision.
No.
Anyways, get your fucking shit right. That's why Triple G ain't fighting Andrade. Anyways, listen. That's the issue. That he wasn't supposed to lose a goddamn round. That's all it is. Because I looked at him like that. I always look at that guy as the guy to beat probably every fucking heavyweight we have right now. But the fact that he lost to Witherspoon a round, I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's not like Mayweather when he steps into the ring and he fights against an elite fighter and he loses the first 3 rounds against that elite fighter. He fought a Witherspoon, a nobody.
Gypsy,
That's
Gypsy. Rascal, go ahead.
Are we going to judge one round? Okay, then that's the case. Tyson Fury wasn't supposed to get the shit beat out of him in his last fight then against a nobody.
Dude, honestly, sit here and tell me if that was Ortiz, right? Let me say something. If that was Ortiz, let's say Luis Ortiz ain't shit to me anyhow. But if you put Luis Ortiz over, you think Luis Ortiz would have lost a single round against Witherspoon?
That's a bad. That's a bad comparison because Luis Ortiz is a bigger puncher, and he could potentially knock him out in the first round. Ortiz
isn't Thing a big puncher himself? Usyk is a big puncher himself. He got hit with right hands, bro.
Round versus this bum. There is no way that Wilder is gonna clip Usyk because Usyk he's way too skilled for a boxer. Period. Point blank. That's just the way it is.
If Witherspoon clipped him and Witherspoon's fat, chubby ass with fucking concrete fucking legs clipped him, then most likely Wilder is definitely going to fucking clip him. It's not even a question whether he's going to clip him or not. He will clip him. The question is, can he handle that punch? That's the issue.
Can somebody else besides boxing talk? Or with Gypsy talk? Like, it's not a Gypsy show. Good points, bro, but it's not a Gypsy show.
All right.
For the rest of his boxing career.
All right, Rasclot, we're gonna let Precise talk now. If you want to stay on the line, call later. So we're gonna move on now to Precise and his take.
I'm gonna call back later. The chat room gay as fuck to me though.
All right, take care, Rasclot. Precise, your take. And please let
just
Precise.
Real quick.
Sorry, let Precise finish. Right, don't interrupt and yell or whatever. Go ahead, Precise.
Real quick, Gypsy. I'm just busting your balls, man. Don't worry about it. I apologize if I offended you. I think people are, we see this time and time again, man. It's just drama, man. Drama, all the time, fucking drama. Look, Usyk was I thought it was a good performance, okay? I'm not gonna, like, sing his praises, because he fought a nobody. He did what he was supposed to do. As far as this whole idea that, like, he can't lose a round against this guy, I don't understand where that rule was written, who wrote it, and why I should agree with it, right? So that's just someone's opinion. That's fine. I think, real quick, there were some encouraging signs there, because people said as soon as, you know, Usyk gets hit by a right hand. Can someone please mute? I'm hearing an echo. As soon as he gets hit by a heavyweight that can punch, and I think we could all agree this dude can punch. The record speaks for itself. I mean, you know, he took one right hand right on the chin and didn't do anything to him. He did kind of roll the punch, but that's Usyk for you. So, you know, if people were saying as soon as he gets hit, it's going to be all over, well, they're wrong about that. So I think there were some encouraging signs there. I mean, he took this guy to school. But again, who is this guy? You know what I mean? As far as Witherspoon goes, he's not better than Wilder, obviously. He's not better than any of these top 10 guys. But there are some things that he does that Wilder cannot. And I'm going to shut up for a moment, let somebody else talk. Maybe they picked up on that, and I'll chime in a little bit later. So,
all right. Now anybody can jump in now. Everybody had their opening statement, if you want to call that. All right, go ahead, guys. Who wants to say something? Rebuttal? Counter-argument? Gypsy, you had a lot to say.
Dude, I said a lot, but I compared him mostly to Bivol. And how Bivol hasn't lost a goddamn round ever since I found out about him. And that motherfucker's on a different sky level, man. I don't know what he's on. You know, like, that fool's on a different level. Speed, reaction time, it's fucking on a different level. But then again, we're talking about a cruiserweight over a light heavyweight, you know, not cruiserweight that's moving up to heavyweight. But then again, you watch Usyk fight the guys in some in the cruiserweight division. He has lost some rounds against not so good competitions, you know what I mean? Not so great ones. There's great ones and then not so great ones. So it's, you know, those type of things, you know, like when you look at it, you're like, who is truly the better boxer between these two?
yeah, but he's not fighting Bivol. He's never going to be fighting Bivol, so I don't understand the comparison.
No, I'm comparing him, and the reason why I'm comparing Bivol is because of the round issues. I'm comparing him because he went. Witherspoon ain't shit, man. I thought he was just gonna school the shit out of him and finish him off eventually, and he did finish him off. It's just I said if he doesn't finish him off, he's a hype job, and he finished him off. Good shit. He made him quit. The thing is though, it's like he wasn't supposed to lose a round. He wasn't supposed to get hit with that right hand.
You made that up, bro. You made that up. Let's just agree you made that up. Like, I disagree. I'm sure other people will disagree.
Yeah.
That's just your opinion. That's all that is. It's a little extreme in my opinion. I think you're going overboard. You know, but look,
maybe.
Remember how, and I'm not saying anyone on the panel did this, but remember how people said that because Walters was coming off a year layoff, Lomachenko doesn't deserve any credit, right? So we had Usyk coming off a year layoff. So this is a bum version of Usyk, according to those people. I'm playing the devil's advocate, obviously. And he was also coming off an injury. So you got a guy coming off a 1 year layoff and an injury, fighting in the heavyweight division in the pro ranks for the very first time. Fighting an opponent on 4 days' notice. I love how everybody's talking about how, he only had 4 days to prepare. Well, it's not like they gave Usyk 2 months' notice that you're fighting this guy anyway, right? So let's try to be unbiased, I say. But anyway, you know, he had all these things that were going, could have possibly, you know, thrown a monkey wrench or a spanner in the gears or whatever the fucking saying is. But obviously he still had most of the advantages here, right? This was just a little warm up just to see what he's about, and he did well. I mean, I think it's arguable whether or not he lost the first round. I gave it to Witherspoon. I did myself, but it was very close and it was arguable. And I think people are over exaggerating the cleanliness of these punches that he got hit with. He did get hit cleanly here and there, but I mean, he blocked a lot of those punches. Like, slow it down and pause it at the moment you think he's getting hit. And you're going to see, before you see the black come in, which was Witherspoon's glove, coming in contact with Usyk, you're going to see a white between, which was Usyk's glove, between Witherspoon's glove in Usyk's face. This guy's defense is on another level, but you gotta got eyes to see. Go ahead, someone.
So
Yeah,
the way,
this is
look,
to Gypsy. Let me just tell you something real quick. In boxing, what you consider, like generally speaking, the first and second, even the third round, that's what you call the feel out rounds, where you get to like download the information, see what your opponent is about. Okay, now if you can't download that information based on something happening, I'm not saying he didn't lose or the round, how are you supposed to adjust? Okay, so I mean, he got hit with a punch here and there, but then he processed that and was able to adjust his game plan according to that opponent, then dominate the rest of the fight.
Yeah, bro, I know that the feel out rounds are the first 2-3 rounds. I know this. The thing is, though, I brought up Bivol. But thing is,
I'm not saying 3 rounds.
Yeah,
forget about Bivol, man, because that guy hardly ever loses a round. But this is different scenario. I mean, that has nothing to do with this. It might even only take you 1 round, might even take you half a round to understand what your opponent is about.
I got it, bro. But
the distance you gotta gauge, or the things you gotta do, to adjust to fighting his style. That's all I just want to say.
Yeah, I got you, bro. The thing is, though, when I'm looking at it, like, see, this is his first fight, so that's why I can't be too criticizing. I can't do it too much. And based off of the injuries and things that Precise is talking about, you can't be too criticizing off of that. Just it's like saying Lomachenko when he came off that shoulder injury and he fought, what was it? I think Pedraza, right? Yeah. You can't be too criticizing on his performance based off of certain things like this. But the second one, maybe the third one, if it keeps showing the same kind of signs, then I would have to lean that, yeah, maybe Wilder would knock his ass out in the fight. Maybe Dylan White has a good chance of doing it too. Maybe Tyson Fury beats him close fight. Maybe this is the way I'm thinking right now. I can't. It's not a set in stone thing. This is not set in stone. I'm not saying 100. It's not.
Yeah, that's fine. Like no one is saying Usyk for sure beats these guys either. So it's just looking into the future, predicting fights. People are gonna disagree. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But like, let me try to put this into context. Did he perform any worse than Deontay Wilder against a similar level of opponent? Now, I'll say that Eric Molina is better than this guy. Okay, he's better. Is he much better? Nah, I don't think so. But he's better. But Deontay Wilder gets in the ring with Molina, almost gets knocked out, right? Or sorry, knocked down. He gets hurt. He gets rocked. He has a rough start, and then he finally knocks him out. How is this any different? Oh, it was different. It was a lot better because Usyk was never in trouble in the fight. He was never staggered by the guy. It never looked like he might lose the fight, and then he stopped him. He stopped him differently. Okay, we could talk about what that is exactly. But when you look at how he performed against the same more or less level of opponent, I mean, he performed better than Wilder.
The thing is, Wilder's not a boxer. We all know this. He's not he's a boxer, but he's not like,
And Usyk is not a knockout puncher.
Yeah. Usyk is.
But everyone is, I'm not saying you, but everyone is treating him like he's supposed to be this one-punch knockout guy, and if he's not that kind of guy, then he can't beat a one-punch knockout guy. But then when you put Deontay Wilder to the Usyk standard, all of a sudden that's not okay. And I'm not talking about you, but you understand what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah, I'm getting you. He's more of a volume puncher, but he does have knockout power. It's not like he doesn't. He's a volume puncher, but the thing is, a guy like that has volume, he needs to not get hit as with shots that Witherspoon landed.
Why?
If he's gonna
land on fire. Why not?
Because he could get fucking lights out. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it's a possibility. The shots that he got hit with, it's a possibility
there's no fighter that doesn't ever get hit. It doesn't happen.
I'm not saying if it's a jab or something like that, that's different. But the right hand.
So you're basically of the belief that as soon as Deontay Wilder lands anything on him, the fight's over.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if he catches him the way Witherspoon caught him in that first round, then he was.
But he doesn't throw his punches the way Witherspoon throws his punches.
He goes deep. He goes further than that.
Straight. Like Wilder can't even throw a straight like that.
Yeah. Like let me explain the difference, and I'm sure Bucho already got it. Witherspoon kept his hands up and he kept dropping punches from the guard. Now, he might not have the raw hand speed of Deontay Wilder. I don't think he was very much slower in the initial rounds, in the beginning. I'm not saying every punch was fast, but a lot of his right hands coming from the guard, he wasn't as fast as Eddie Chambers, not nearly, but it reminded me a little bit of Eddie Chambers because it's a short punch, it's coming straight from the guard, it's not telegraphed, it's harder to see, and it's quick. The hand speed might not be what Deontay Wilder has, but Deontay Wilder's punch, even though his hands are quicker, travels 3 times the distance, and it's a lot easier to see. So Deontay Wilder's not going to be landing like in that one instance where Witherspoon landed a short right hand, right cross, right on Usyk's chin as Usyk was throwing the sweeping left hand, I think. Deontay Wilder can't throw those punches. He can't just throw a short punch straight from the guard. He just doesn't do that. Like, you could say what you want about Witherspoon. Yes, he's slow, he's ponderous, he's got heavy feet, he's not that good, he's not that durable, he had no stamina, blah, blah, blah. But technically, he's so much better than Deontay Wilder. Like, he's on another level, technically, to Deontay Wilder. That's why he was able to land cleanly on Usyk, and that's why Usyk wasn't able to see that punch, because it was like a 12-inch punch. Deontay Wilder, even if you can throw a 12-inch punch, there's nothing on that punch. So, like, it's fucking apples and oranges here. Now, if we're talking about Anthony Joshua can throw those punches. There, he's in trouble. But, you know, he got cracked with that punch, and it didn't even faze him. So far, the chin looks solid. I mean, we'll see. And I'm not saying that just because he could take a shot from Witherspoon, he could take a punch from Wilder. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But all those people who said that he can't take a heavyweight's punch, well, so far, 0 them. And all those people who said he can, one for them, right?
All right. We have a bunch of phone calls, and we also have recognize you can jump in if you want. We're going to take phone calls quickly over here because they're piling up over here. All right, 912, you're on the air. 912.
What's up, fellas?
What's up? Who is this?
Tyrese. I think I called.
I can call you whatever you want. So
talking about the
Porter
Spence aftermath.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. So the topic is: does Usyk have a chance against Wilder? Is that the topic? That's the topic.
Wilder or any other heavyweight? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has a great chance. I mean, he displayed, you know, what he did at cruiserweight, you know, but I think he was a little cautious of a heavyweight's power, and he fought a guy on a short notice, so he fought to his strengths. You know, he used his gas tank, he used his jab, he used his angles, but he's still getting acclimated to the weight. Does he have a chance against Wilder? Not right now. I'll give him about 2 or 3 fights down the line, you know. But he definitely has a chance against Wilder. And even though Wilder's a horrible technician, he does control range very well. He has a great gas tank himself. So it's going to be hard for Usyk to get past Wilder's jab, even though he uses it well. So Usyk, he's going to have to use a lot of angles. So does he have a chance against Wilder? Yes. Is Wilder, the possibility that Wilder can knock him out? Yes. So, and him fighting Wilder maybe 2 or 3 fights down the road, Wilder's probably going to be a lot more faded than what we see him now. So by the time they fight, yes. I think Tyson Fury is probably his most difficult fight. Joshua and Andy Ruiz, man, those would be tough fights for Usyk.
I think Usyk schools the shit out of AJ and Ruiz. He makes an example out of him. Maybe he gets caught with AJ's power. Ruiz, like with his short hands, he will have a hard time hitting him. But he probably will catch him too. But it's not going to be enough to stop him, or maybe he will hurt him moments in time. But it's not going to be the same. I think AJ will possibly drop him once in the fight, but possibly. And possibly, but I think Usyk takes the whole fight to him. He probably stops him at the end as well. But Wilder and Tyson Fury, those are like anomalies. I don't know, man, how it will happen between between them and Usyk. It's a difficult.
Yeah, because they're so much taller in stature. You know, Fury and Wilder are a lot taller, so it's going to be a lot tougher. You know, but I can agree. You know, with the AJ and the Ruiz fight, those will probably be more evenly matched fights to me, in my opinion. But that's just me. But
all right, man. Hey, thanks for the call, man. We're gonna move on now.
all right.
Can I just enter really quickly? I promise. Thanks, caller.
Hold on. Go ahead, Precise.
Real quick, just my opinion. I think Ruiz is the toughest fight. Deontay Wilder's the easiest. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I thought you want to say. Okay, and 912. Thanks for the call, man. Call back again next time.
Peace.
Take care. Yeah, we have a lot of. Okay, 415. You're on the air. 415.
Okay, hello.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
You guys. I hope Wilder Usyk happens soon.
Okay.
And that
Why?
Wilder will beat Usyk.
Are you Filipino, bro? He sounds Filipino.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Why?
Why? All right, man. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. This guy that sounds high as fuck. All right. 501. You're on the air. 501.
Hey, fellas, what's up?
Yeah. What's up? How do we call you?
No, this is Chris.
Chris. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, I've called before. I called about like the unbelievable line that Vegas set against Sean Porter.
Yeah.
With Errol Spence. Right. And hear me out. Like, that dude came to fight. That was all. That was my only point. Like, whether he was a favorite or not, that's not the point. Like, you almost have to bet Porter in that spot because of the distance that Vegas is giving you for the win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate betting against boxers I think are going to lose the fight. But when the margin is so big and when the fighter suggests, like, okay, this is nowhere close to reality, I'm going to take that line every time. And I took Porter. Porter did exactly what I thought he was going to do. And, you know, it was a hell of a fight.
Okay.
Yo, realistically, the odds weren't that bad because no matter what, Spence was gonna win that fight, decision, whatever, all that shit. The thing is, though, with the Ruiz and AJ fight,
I hear you on that, but
that on the other hand, bro, that was a different story. That was ridiculous. That was like, what the fuck were they looking at, the bookies?
But hear me out, though. Like, I think that Spence was like a +4 or 500? I mean, those are retarded odds on two guys that are just willing to brawl with each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's still Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vegas to put Spence of Porter.
Nope.
It was just like you're calling Porter a scrub, and I couldn't buy that.
Look, bro, because they look at the box rec, and they go like, oh, Kell Brook beat Porter. Kell Brook got his ass beat by Errol Spence. So, you know, that's how they usually do their things anyhow. These motherfuckers are a bunch of nerds anyhow, bro. I mean, realistically, they do good. They pick the right people sometimes because of the people that analyze the fights. But a lot of times, the people that analyze the fight sometimes don't know their shit in the first place.
Let's get back to Usyk. Go ahead. Who's gonna Precise?
No, I was just gonna say, you guys are acting like boxing is a fair sport. Like there's no corruption. You always have to take that into account when you're looking at odds, and that's what these nerds do.
All right, 5-1. Sorry, Chris. Anything else you want to add?
No, just to reiterate what your boy said. Let's go back to Sean Bradley.
when allegedly he beat Pacquiao in the first of the trio?
Okay.
You remember that? And what was it? CJ? I forget her name. But
CJ Ross.
CJ Ross.
I mean,
I don't remember the odds for that fight.
Thank you. But listen, when I was so livid with that fucking decision, I went back and I watched the whole fight like I was a judge, and I could not give a round favoring Bradley until like the 10th or the 11th. I could not give a round to Bradley until then, and this dude won. I mean, you're absolutely right. Politics plays a huge part in boxing. I'm fucking sick of it, and I just wish, men could be men and fight as they will.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. We're gonna move on now. All right. Thanks, Chris. Call back again next time. All right. We have another phone call, but I just want to try to get corruption in here through Skype. I don't know if it's gonna work, so let me see. Yeah, corruption, are you there? Corruption, hello? This is not working. Yeah.
All
right.
It's like, we keep mentioning corruption, bro. Like, corruption's always, in this sport, this is the most corrupt sport for me of any sports, realistic, and I love it. My number one sport. That's obvious, but the thing is with these odds, what I mentioned Ruiz and AJ, right? It's like you make these odds, but you put it so fucking one-sided for AJ, and it was like, what, plus 133 in England or something like that for Ruiz. I was like, dude, are you that stupid? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they make these dumbass decisions. The most I would have gave Ruiz as the underdog was probably a little over than what they did to Porter. Maybe a little bit, or it's exactly the same thing as Porter. That's as far as I would have gone. You make these decisions, and then somebody places for him, it's a small amount of money. Maybe it's like $1,000, $2,000. You just banked off of your fucking mistake. You know what I mean? But then I guess there's a lot of idiots out there that would just automatically put a lot of money on AJ when there's like negative fucking 11,000 and shit. You know what I mean? You don't put money on that fucking odds. It's ridiculous. Whatever you get back from it, it's a small amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Hold
on. 470. You're on the air. 470.
Hello.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just listened. I think you guys addressed it, but the previous caller, a lot of times, I'm a gambler, so a lot of times, if there's a fight that they're trying to market as an even matchup, but it's people in the know who's going to win. They'll put really, really like crazy odds. So I think that's what happened with Porter. Is trying to get people to, if I just drop a little bit, I can come up. I can come up big time. So I think that's what happened with that fight. In terms of Usyk, I saw the fight last night. I think he has a chance to outbox pretty much all the top heavyweights. I think with Deontay Wilder. Thing with Wilder, I think it's a 50-50 chance. Usyk could outbox him all 12. Wilder could land some shit on him and knock him out in the first round or some point in the fight. So that's how I see it. I was impressed with Usyk's performance last night. So look forward to seeing what he can do at heavyweight.
All right. What do you think Usyk should do next?
I think he should wait for the Joshua Ruiz winner. I think he should wait for the winner of that fight, and then take that person on. But I think if he goes in there with Joshua, I don't think it depends on what Joshua tries to do. Joshua's looking more gun shy these days, so he might not try to be aggressive with Usyk, and it might turn into a boxing match, which would favor Usyk. So, but when I look at it, I think that if Joshua wins that fight, he should go for Joshua. Wilder is too much of he could win all 12 rounds, like he said. Wilder won't win a round from me, but Wilder might just land some shit on him, and that's it. So
yeah,
that's what I think.
All right. Well, thanks for our call. We're gonna call you Gambler now. Yep. So thanks for our call, Gambler.
All right.
Take care, man.
She's gonna fight Joe Parker. Watch. Just watch. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's
guys.
the fight that needs to be done, bro. That's the fight that needs to be done for his to build
Notice
himself up.
how Joseph Parker pulled out of his fight with Chisora.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
He knows what it's
Wait a
being set
minute.
up already for the vacant WBO. Watch.
That makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. That'll be a good fight. I'll be tuning in.
Bucho, can I say something real quick about Usyk's power? I don't recognize just got on.
Yeah, okay, let's just give because this is gonna be too chaotic. Boricua, is that you on the line?
Yeah, it's me, Boricua.
Yeah, just quickly, please, because we have a lot of people. But go ahead.
Oh, wait, am I interrupting anyone?
No, just
go ahead, Boricua.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I heard booty call.
No.
All right. Now that we know Usyk is finally going to be our heavyweight, I'm looking forward to what he's going to do. Now, I also, like many other people, believe he should just wait for the Andy Ruiz and Joshua winner. But I'm wondering because last year, Luis Ortiz caught Wilder with a good shot, and Wilder got almost put out. And I'm just wondering, what if that happens again and he pulls off the upset this time around?
Fixed fight.
I don't
know. Not happening, bro. Ortiz is like pushing to 101 right now. It's not gonna happen. But I mean, never say never. Never say never.
Yeah, because like in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything, and that's happened a number of times in boxing throughout the years. But I'm going for Wilder because Luis is old as heck and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering if he catches Wilder again and doesn't waste the opportunity, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up pulling it off this time around. But I'm still going for Wilder. But let's just say if Luis Ortiz surprisingly ends up being champ, what do you guys think is going to happen to Wilder after that?
Rematch. And Wilder beats him in the rematch if that was to happen. I don't expect that to happen. But it's boxing, like Gypsy said. Anything's possible.
You know what I'd like to see about this fight? I would like to see him. Let's see what kind of adjustments he makes. Wilder, is he really improved from the first fight with Ortiz over the second fight? That's what I'd like to see. I would like.
There's nothing.
I know
he's had 2 fights after that. It looks the same, more or less the same.
We'll see. Like I would like to see what kind of both sides. Even though Ortiz is older, I think the first couple of rounds he's going to be pretty good. Maybe the third round, 2, fourth round as well. But like, I want to see what's the differences from the first fight over the second fight. And if Ortiz is pretty old and washed up at that point, then I mean you can't really compare at that point,
I just wanna apologize to the caller. Like, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, bro. Like, I'm just very cynical. I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just really cynical.
No, I get you. I understand. But in terms of Usyk versus Wilder, how do I say this? I think he could dominate Wilder and maybe even put him out with body shots in the late rounds, but he just needs to avoid that right hand. And I feel like Usyk's defense is very underrated because, he's been caught a couple of times, but those were with people with actual skill. But
power looked good too, man. People are tripping. The power looked good, man.
I wanted to give my input of the fight really quick, if I could. Or
go ahead, bro.
You want to finish with the call?
Well, Boricua, thanks for the call, man. There's other people that are waiting to say a word, but thanks for the call, man. All right, call back next time.
From one Boricua to another. ¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo que? He knows what that means. ¿Qué lo que?
One booty call to another booty call.
Yeah, I know. Some gay message that we don't understand. But go ahead, recognize.
I don't like that. Gay part. That's not acceptable. Anyway, so this is what I thought of the fight. Okay, now I get it. He may have lost one round, and he could have. He could have lost that round in the first round. Yes, Now, he looked a little stiff to me in the beginning. He looked like the weight could have been an issue. I don't know if it's a big issue, but it could have been. Remember, he's coming off almost a year 1 year layoff, and he's also heavier, 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay. Sorry. And so he started off a little slow, right? He was.
All right, we just lost Recognize the Matrix, but we have Corruption. Oh, are you back? Recognize?
Fuck.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah. Okay. So he started off a little slow. To me, the fight looked like a sparring matchup. Okay. It's obviously we know it's not a sparring fight. It's not a sparring matchup. It's a real fight. But I thought that Usyk was trying to figure out what is it that he needs to do to get loose. If you see, he was shaking off his arm after for the first 3 to 4 rounds. Every time it ended, like he was just like trying to get motion on his arm. That could be from rust. That could be from having a little bit of weight that he hasn't fought in. Maybe he hasn't fought in a while. Maybe he's fought like that before. But this is the part that I think people are missing. He punches harder. Okay. It's a fact. He punches harder with the weight that he has. The speed that wasn't necessarily there. I think that because he didn't have to have that speed there. Okay. He's a puncher. He's a volume puncher. The speed gets faster with the amount of punches that are coming at him as well. So I get it. I get the criticism. Maybe he lost 1 round, but let's chill out, because when he got loose, he started landing at will. Look, Chaz Witherspoon is not a great fighter. I heard Precise say that, he's probably a level under Eric Molina or just about the same. I kind of tend to agree with that. So this was a sparring matchup. That's all it was. I don't take anything from this fight. The only thing I take from it is that Usyk punches harder. Punches harder.
He can take a punch. Everybody's saying
that speed will get better.
What's going to happen?
The fight goes along.
What's going to happen when what?
You should be putting that "Get Loose, Get on your Sunday shoe" song.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are great points. Those are great points.
We lost a phone call. Yeah, we can hear you. All right. Corruption, are you there?
This fucking thing.
Corruption. You're muted, by the way, so you have to unmute. All right. I don't know. At least Corruption managed to get in this time. All right. Who wants to say something? Gonzalo?
I'm gonna say something. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go back to the power thing with Usyk. Look, an example. Muhammad Ali never had heavy hands, but he had a high KO ratio, and he always found a way to win based on his skills. Okay, imagine if Tim Witherspoon would have came out for the 8th round. He would have brutally got knocked out. Okay, when these guys quit, think of Lomachenko. When these fighters quit, they get robbed of a highlight reel knockout. Okay, they get robbed in a way what people remember. Oh, the fighter quit. But if he would have came out, a lot of these fighters would have got embarrassed, and that's what these fighters are trying to avoid, getting knocked out in brutal fashion. So sometimes they get robbed in a way of putting out like these highlight reel performances. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, and one last thing. Chaz Witherspoon had a good jab.
Yeah.
Like his second cousin, Tim Witherspoon. That's all. Go ahead.
You took those words out of my mouth, Gonzalo. That's what I was about to bring up. Brigondio and the Axeman. Both of them guys knew what was coming, man, and so did Tim Witherspoon. That's why he quit. If Usyk doesn't hit that hard, why didn't he just walk through his punches? Why was his head snapping back, and why was he getting sent back and getting put on the ropes if Usyk's power ain't that much? Not every time Deontay Wilder hits somebody and snaps their head back, he knocks him out. Same with Golovkin the other night. He snapped Derevyanchenko's head back all night. Didn't knock him out. The power looked legit. I'm not saying he's some huge puncher, but I've always said this before. I got criticized for it. Usyk and Lomachenko are knockout artists. They're not one-punch knockout kind of guys, even though Lomachenko can be that at the right weight, and so can Usyk, as we found out, right? But they are knockout artists. Emphasis on artists. They set the knockout up. Usyk starts slowly, just like Lomachenko, and I've said this before many times. And as soon as he gets a beat on you, he turns it up. He puts more and more power on his punches. He was punching, in my opinion, at 80% maybe. He wasn't even putting all his power into the punches like Deontay Wilder does with every single goddamn punch. So, and I think Tim Witherspoon and his team, because they studied Usyk, because everybody in the heavyweight division has been studying Usyk for a while now, and they know that this is how these Ukrainians fight, and they knew what was coming. Usyk got a beat on this dude. He found it easier to hit him, and now the last thing that he was going to bring is the power into it. And I'm not saying he would have sparked him out with one punch, but he was going to stop him. He was going to hurt this dude, and he was going to stop him. That's my opinion.
Hey,
Some people think he got tired.
I didn't mention anything about power. Wait a minute, Butcher. I didn't mention anything about power. Power wise, he looked good with power. There was nothing wrong with power there. It's not like anywhere near the top elite heavyweight punching power, but he's like mediocre.
He's a sharpshooter. He has a heavy.
Well, what did you expect?
A heavy punch.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he has a decent punch with volume. But volume would have a lot of effect. And yes, Witherspoon could have walked through those punches, but the problem is the volume pushed him back. The volume made it near impossible for his ass to walk through those punches. That's the issue. And yes, he is.
Right, you try to walk through those
a knockout
punches,
artist.
you could get hurt. When they're pushing you back, and if you try to walk through it, that could hurt you.
In a fight, in Usyk's case, the power is not the issue. The issue is, can he take a serious punch from somebody like Dylan White?
But we know that, dude.
But we've been talking about this for 2 years now, right? And this fight didn't prove to you that he can't. At the very least, you could say that, right?
Now,
not really. No, not really. Not yet.
All right.
Okay, so
it's not.
What's Chaz Witherspoon's weight? 245 in that fight. 240 from 245. So he actually fought a guy comes in heavier. Now, look, I'm not saying he's Wilder or AJ. I get that, but the punch when you get hit, and Witherspoon knows how to throw a punch. Remember, this is a kid who's pretty well schooled. I get it. He's way past it these days, but and he wasn't really that great anyway when he was in it. But he knows how to throw a punch. Is my point. And when he did land a few punches to Usyk's chin, I didn't see this, devastating effect that I think some people had questions about, and which to me makes sense because he's already shown that he could take punches. I mean, the cruiserweight fighters are just faster, bro. They're faster.
Yeah, that's what who said that? Mark was earlier, and he said exactly the same thing because people were comparing. We're talking about the Bellew fighting, how Bellew was whooping Usyk at the beginning. I don't know what they were saying, but the point is, listen, Bellew is a cruiserweight. He moves like a cruiserweight. Sorry, if he's a light heavyweight, you could even argue. So he's faster. But and by the way, he didn't whoop fucking Usyk. Corruption, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Finally, yes. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your patience on the systems, King.
Yeah, that's weird. But anyways, go ahead.
No, a lot of negativity. I mean, it's amazing how divisive the internet and all of these social media platforms can be. But what people have got to understand is that a bicep injury, specifically a bicep tear, is one of the most serious injuries for a heavyweight. Fortunately for Usyk, it was just a rupture from what I'm hearing. But the rupture was confined to his lead arm, his right hand. Now, you can look at that in two ways, whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage, given that he's a southpaw. But given that his lead hand, his fencing hand, is of critical importance, because he's utilizing it obviously far more, not only in setting up, fusing wrong footing, but he has a better educated an educated right hand than most people, and you could see that in the fight. He was varying the jab, even the length of it. He'll go jab, jab, feint in between, but sometimes he'll right hook off his lead hand as well. So the fight, I think, more was an exercise in seeing the rehabilitation of his lead hand. How was it? I mean, after a rupture and a significant long layoff, plus adding about 8 or 9 pounds, because Usyk has fought at heavyweight before. You know, he was 206 for his professional debut, and he's fought over 200 pounds 2 or more times in his professional career. So it's not a big transition for him. Plus, in 2008, he was a super heavyweight. The guy he's like the Manny Pacquiao of the later divisions. He's gone anywhere from 165 all the way to super heavyweight as he's been getting obviously stronger and heavier. He's stayed more at sort of heavyweight, super heavyweight. So, King, you know, I mean, I don't understand this nonsensical talk about losing rounds here or there or whatsoever. That's just totally irrelevant. I mean, for a fighter, if you know about his genetic sort of makeup, like the Ukrainians are like power chess players. I mean, they're analyzing, dissecting, but once they begin to process the information, they turn into fighters, and they can stop opponents at their will later on. So it's almost in his strategy to lure fighters to thinking that they can actually hit him. He actually wants that to a certain extent. He actually admires that is what allows him to sometimes get a little bit on the inside. Once he's got lead foot control and lead hand control, when he's actually pivoting off to the fighter's left for an orthodox fighter, and he's beginning to open up with the left hand. But here, what he was doing well, I think, was targeting the body with his short right hand. Short right hands to the body and short straight left hands to the body, wearing down a fighter. You got to give Chaz credit as well. You know, I mean, selling cars, you know, facilitating his day job. He came back, and he showed a reasonable level of competence in the ring. He was well balanced, had pretty good, fundamentals. He's had a very good compact style as well. Obviously, his conditioning would have been not superb, given that he's not as active or has been as active recently, or didn't know when he was fighting in terms of late notice. But he showed a reasonable level of competence. But for Usyk, I think he could have stopped Chaz if he wanted to, if that was his proclivity very early on. But that was a pro Usyk crowd. I think he was enjoying the atmosphere. He wanted rounds. It's about getting rid of the ring rust, trying out his right hand, seeing whether he can hook off it, hit to the body of it, not rupturing it, so it was a rehabilitation and shedding ring rust exercise, King. Nothing more than that.
And there's this idea from some of the haters that, well, Usyk needs time. He needs to fight this guy and that guy before he gets to the top, meaning that he needs to grow into the division and acclimate and get used to it and all this other bullshit, right? While at the same time, he's supposed to knock everybody out in the first round. So it's like, well, what you're not making any fucking sense.
Because they're so caught up in how to say, I just don't think he's ready, that they start. Just say, look, I don't think he's ready. Fine. Right? Just say that. Look, I don't believe until he proves me wrong. Look, I would say this, man. I thought Corruption's breakdown was excellent. The only thing I would like to see from Usyk, this is it. And I think he could do it. He needs to get that V shape that he had at 200. He could do that at 215. I would like to see that because I think it's better for his movement.
Bet you would, bro.
What's that mean?
Well, in other words, he was a little chubby around.
To Gypsy.
The way, look, when I say chubby, it's not like a fat guy out of shape type of chubby. He just had a little bit more weight in the stomach.
I'm just busting your balls, bro.
Anyways,
you know what I like to see? I would like to see him fight Daniel Dubois. That's what I like to see, but I don't think that fight will ever happen. I like to see that. That would be an interesting matchup.
Bro, yeah, I agree, but Usyk's not going to waste his time with these fucking contenders, prospects, that he's not going to get any credit for anyway, and the fight will never happen anyway, because they're not going to destroy a young prospect that's got the potential to make a lot of money, hype job or not.
Who are you talking about?
With
The
someone
boys?
like Usyk. Yeah, they're not going to put him in with Usyk, man. He
No,
would
they're not gonna fight him.
He would ruin this kid. Come on, man.
Yeah, more than likely he outboxes the shit out of him and probably stops him. Like, look, dude, he's got power. With him at 215, and like I said, I'm not saying that it's the most important thing. He looked comfortable moving around. For me, I like to see him a little leaner at 215. I believe he could do that, and I believe that he will. He will do that eventually. There was a lot of shit going into this fight. There was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There was fucking Povetkin. That situation became political. Then Takam, he gets a promotional deal. He says no. Then you got Spunk, whatever the fuck his last name is.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that
happened. Hot, and he was clean, but whatever, right? There was just so much nonsense going on that me personally, I saw him a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but once he got loose, man, it was like, damn, that boy could hit hard. I started to see. I'm not surprised by him starting off a little slow. That didn't surprise me.
Usyk and Loma are the type of guys that, let's say he had 2 months to prepare for Witherspoon. We would not have seen that first, second, or third round. We would have immediately started it in the fourth round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needed the time to learn this guy. He didn't have the time to prepare, and because he is a cerebral fighter and he studies everybody in and out of the ring, and because he didn't have that, you had to have expected him to start that much slower.
Correct.
And also, when you think of a fighter that breaks another guy down, it's usually around like the middle rounds, 8, 9, whatnot. And when he was fighting this guy, he was matching his tempo. But, you cannot fight faster than what the other guy offers if you're going to follow that game plan to break another down. Who's to say that this is what I probably think he will do? Because he's a guy that breaks other guys down. When he fights another guy with a faster tempo, he's going to match that tempo to continue on the same pace.
Exactly, man. That's what I was talking about. Remember, he's been fighting at the cruiserweight guys with maybe he's a tad bit faster than them, or he's just more active. But there's something to work with. He has to think fast. That's where he's at his best. I can't take that much from this fight. They're like, oh, his inactivity is pretty slow. The guy he's fighting is slow. You understand what I'm saying? So
So that's why another fight is required to make that assessment. That's why I said it's too early to tell. We need to see another fight to make this shit more obvious.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But I can see what I'm trying to say is, Wilder fans saying, "Oh, no, don't you dare!" No, I can see.
Yeah, because that's the thing I say. They're protecting him. Of course, they're going to say that.
No, you're right. But I'm just going to finish this point quickly. I saw the tools where he can beat Wilder in that sparring match with Chaz Witherspoon at 215, right? 215 pounds. I think it's perfect for him. He doesn't need to go any higher than that. Maybe 220 the most. But he's fine where he's at. I see now. I got evidence, and yes, I believe that he can outbox the shit out of Wilder. Can he get knocked out? Of course, man.
Put it this way,
this is so stupid. Of course, this is the heavyweight business. Dudes get knocked out.
Then after the
one
fight,
thing with his speed at 215, and he hits a dude like Wilder in his slim jaw, he could hurt him and probably knock him out too.
Listen to this shit.
That he said that he fight Wilder. Wilder has to come to the Ukraine to fight him. Man, get out of here, dude. Like I said, man, you go into
hold on,
dude, and he really didn't. It took him 7 rounds to get this dude. Well, man, Wilder would have dispatched that dude in 1 round, man. For real, Wilder would have got that dude up out of here. They chose this dude because this dude had no real power. He hit Usyk with left hooks and straight right hands. Power shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, this boxing's stupid. Like, what the fuck is this guy? I don't mean to be disrespectful, man.
It's true. It's true. He could have, but the thing is, though, Wilder's a different animal, and Witherspoon is
Wilder's a human being. Stop it. He's a human being. You can box him. Okay,
I said a different animal. I didn't say. I didn't call him a beast, bro. I called him a different animal. Just like I call everything else
but
an animal.
he doesn't know how to sell punches from a guy.
We can kill it.
Look, man. Look, man. What you're hearing from these fanboys is Wilder will kill him. Wilder will destroy him. He'll knock him out in the first round, which is why Usyk should fight this guy and that other guy, and they're putting all these like roadblocks, and all these other guys between him and Wilder. If Wilder knocks him out, then you want that fight next. You want to fight that guy as soon as possible because you're gonna get a lot of credit. It's a good money fight. You know what I mean? Wilder, if they're so confident that Wilder kills him, why are they putting all these guys in between him and Wilder? It doesn't make any sense.
So far at this point in time, it's not the best money fight for Wilder. It's just ain't.
I didn't say it's the best money fight, but it's a hell of a lot better than Luis Ortiz. I can give you that much. For damn sure better than that.
Kind of hard to say.
Luis Ortiz doesn't have any fans, bro. He doesn't have any fans.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
No, it is that. It is that because then you don't understand business. Who makes more money per fight?
Bro, business. Don't talk about business with me, boy. You know what I mean?
I'm
not talking
Dominic Brazil, really? If he treats him like Dominic Brazil, is supposed to knock him out in the first round. Well, then he could fight him between camps of two serious fights, right? Luis Ortiz and Dominic Brazil. Come on, man. If all I'm saying is if these people thought that he's easy work, they'd be calling for that fight, but they're not because they know what time it is, man.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that Usyk's name, and obviously if this fight takes place, it's probably going to be in America. It's going to be here, right? It's going to be in the States.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, and his name isn't that big yet. I think they know Ortiz more in America than they know somebody like Usyk.
Bro,
who
fight ain't happening. The fight's not happening. They will never put Deontay Wilder in the ring with Usyk, okay? Forget about it. I don't even feel like talking about this fight because if you thought that Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua was hard to make, you ain't seen nothing yet, man. They will never put Deontay Wilder in the ring with Usyk. Forget it.
I think that was on both sides, man. I think both sides want that fight,
but that's when they say that he's not ready. That's what pretty much they mean.
Yeah, this fight, I think this fight with Usyk wanting the fight is gonna really rattle fucking Wilder's boots, if he ever wears boots, that is. The thing is though, the motherfucker, the thing is though, fucking, if he, this is what I look at. If Usyk fights somebody like Miller, for instance, some American names, so he gets his name up in America, 1 or 2 fights, and then he fights Wilder, that'll be a bigger fight than for sure. Even if he fights Miller and he beats him, that'd be a bigger fight than Ortiz, that's for sure. But at this point, it's kind of hard to say that fight would be bigger than the Ortiz fight, since Ortiz is more known.
Alright, that's bullshit, but you have the right to your opinion.
I think nobody was calling for the rematch.
Shelley Finkel used to manage both of the fighters, like both Deontay and Vladimir Klitschko, and that fight could have been very easily made, but he never made that fight because he knew Wilder up against a boxer like that wouldn't have been a good style for him. So I think Shelley Finkel realized it.
Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So I don't think Shelley Finkel is going to be keen to put Wilder in with another Ukrainian fighter, somebody who he knows will make Wilder just look horrible with his 2 left feet, who simply needs the fighter just to stand pretty much right in front of him with his hands down trying to block a body shot, like Dominic Brazil when the right hand was coming up the top. Somebody as incompetent as that in the ring.
Are you guys not paying attention? Like Gypsy, you're not paying attention to how he makes.
Bro, you guys are cutting off.
Mute your mics, please.
How he takes righties' best weapons away. He's the southpaw from fucking hell. He is. That's what he is.
I know he's pretty good. I think
he's a little bit more than pretty good.
He's pretty good, bro. I'm telling you, the first time I saw him, I'm like, this guy's a beast with the volume punches. He's ridiculous. I forgot what fighter was I fought. I saw him beating the shit out of somebody. Like, fuck, man, it was like years back. And this fool,
I forgot who it was. It was this channel from LDBC. that hates, everybody. I don't remember his name, but he was looking at Usyk's footwork and he said, "Yo, listen, that's a problem right there."
Yeah, it is.
Guy actually said, "I don't
It is
like
a
this
problem.
cracker." He's like one of those guys that don't even bite his tongue. He's like honest about it. I respect him for being an honest bigot that he is. And he said that cracker got footwork that could be a fucking problem.
Hey guys, can we read some comments from YouTube? Hold on, let me just put them up. Here we go. Proud African says Europeans want to see Wilder beaten so badly that they see threats to. Jeez, I can wait. They see threats to him everywhere. Then Ashley Corner says Chaz and Usyk's eyes marked up. Usyk knows that heavyweight is a strictly money grab with handpicked opponents that they know he can't beat. Sorry. No, that's not the comment. This is a comment. He looked awful. I don't see him beating no one good or great at heavyweight either. So
the thing is though, when you guys mention Povetkin,
look,
right?
hold on. This guy's in the chat. ALL Boxing. He's going after Precise the whole time.
Yeah.
You better stay fighting those Euro bums in their cruiserweight division because he fought for any top 50 heavyweight. Interesting comment.
He is food, all right?
Yeah.
He is food.
It's hard to read these comments, but go ahead.
I was saying that when you talk about Povetkin, right? Povetkin, bro. He in my eyes, Wilder, and they probably the same thing as his promoter. They didn't look at him as ready to fight somebody like Povetkin. Just like, in my opinion, they did the same thing with Usyk. Even though I thought Usyk was ready to fight whoever they put up against him at that moment in time, they didn't find that maybe Takam maybe too much, too early, too quick. That's why they didn't make that fight. This is boxing and it's politics. They didn't make that fight.
Takam pulled out of that fight.
Okay, let's say he did. Fucking. All right,
no, he did. It's like he did.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if he did or not, bro. I can't.
All right, and I'm helping you out. I'm telling you, he did.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, he did. Well, and then they popped Sponge Dirty. All right, and then the second, third came out negative. It's like they do this things to sometimes to it's the managing factor of it to see maybe he's not ready. We're just rushing in too quickly.
All right, Gypsy, can I address that? Look, if you fail a drug test for something and then you wait a day or two for your system to clear and you take another test, guess what? It's gonna come up clean. That's one thing. Another thing is Usyk and his team, they reached out to Takam. Okay, fight didn't happen. Then they reached out to Spung, or whatever the fuck his name is, and the fight didn't happen. They're reaching out to these guys. They're not ducking these guys. They're not mandated to fight these guys. They are finding they're cherry-picking these opponents. And what you're saying, or maybe I'm getting this wrong, because I know a lot of other people are saying this, you're saying that he's ducking the opponents that he just cherry-picked.
No,
that doesn't make any sense.
Or
they're afraid for him.
No. I'm not saying he's ducking
team
him.
is afraid.
It's not afraid. It's more like proper management. It's like you don't think your fighter. It's like same thing with Daniel Dubois. Like you don't put him up automatically against Wilder, fucking something like that. You take your time. You slowly, you get that. You make sure that what you're doing is working confidently, going up. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's the managing factor. Same thing with Povetkin's Wilder case. I think it was the same situation. I think I don't remember how Wilder back then is not the same. Wilder back then is not the same to Wilder that is right now. Wilder right now is pretty good compared to what he was.
He improved.
When Povetkin was calling him out and shit.
He improved.
So they thought that was not a good matchup at the time, and they said
Wilder improved.
We'll make him pop him dirty and shit, make him look, fuck that shit. We're not gonna let him fight Povetkin. There are things like this that the politics of boxing, the managing of boxing does it all the time, and I see it time and time again.
So Wilder has improved.
Huh?
Wilder improved? Is that what you said?
Wilder's improved in power. Wilder's improved in
power.
Certain things like power wise, the way he times that shot, like he's got better at it at what he does. Especially with the Tyson Fury fight under his belt. He's got a little more experience, a little more confidence at what he does.
I agree with that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
agree with that. That there is a little bit more confidence. Maybe that comes from timing. Maybe that's more confident in your punching ability. You know, that all can play into it, and I totally agree with that. But that doesn't change the point that, you know, there was great concerns about him getting exposed back then, and I still think there's great concerns that can happen now, because while I agree that he has gotten confident in what he can do, they still know that he's not a great boxer. Boxer meaning he knows how to set punches up. Look, he knows how to. What Deontay Wilder is what he's a sniper, right? Lines you
You
up,
know where his
goes for the
confidence
shot.
coming from, bro? You know where his confidence coming from? It's his uterus secreting more estrogen.
Yeah.
Look, man.
That post that fucking Unrivaled did of him being pregnant and shit. I'm like, that's gonna be a wild baby, bro.
Look, man. Look, Wilder. You know, like we all know. Yes, he punches anybody. He lines them up. He lands a really good one. He's gonna knock him out. But he's been doing that against bums. Okay, no head movement. No concept of how to protect themselves. Nothing. You know, that's not Usyk's situation. That's not going to be the situation with Usyk. And again, not saying that Usyk would definitely beat him, but I tell you right now, from what I see, Usyk will have a great chance of outboxing him, and that's how I judge boxing: is boxing skills.
You know what it is, Matrix?
Go ahead.
What it is with these Deontay Wilder supporters, and there's absolutely nothing wrong if that is your fighter, you have an affinity with him, absolutely fine. Now look, but the problem is there is no appeasing these Deontay Wilders in any angle whatsoever. If you throw an argument to them that, look, Wilder took 33 fights before he actually fought a living body. Before that, if you want to undertake an exercise to actually analyze his resume, you will unearth so many nightmares, in the sense that he has fought over between 10 and 15 blown up super middleweights, blown up light heavyweights, guys who lost to like Robert Stieglitz and Sergey Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson, and were sparring partners to Lennox Lewis over 15 years ago. That is the sort of composition of fighters that he's gorged upon for over a decade. If you throw that argument to them, they'll say, well, no, we don't accept that. Wilder was a late starter. He turned into boxing in his late 80s, early 20s. So we don't accept that. And then you can throw another argument to them and say, well, look, that's not a definitive argument, because there's guys like, say, Murat Gassiev, who had less amateur career than Deontay Wilder, only 12 or so fights, and became a unified champion within their division in around 20 or so fights. So they won't even accept that argument as well. So
that's the thing about corruption. I'm not those guys. I'm just saying that some people are late bloomers. Some people are early bloomers. It varies, you know, like.
Well, Joseph Parker, only turned to boxing in his 20s and became a champion in a lot less time. So there is no argument that they can throw at you which just cannot be broken down.
Is it possible that Wilder might be slow?
But look, the thing with Usyk, Usyk is trying to achieve greatness. Yeah, if he gets beaten by Wilder, so be it. It doesn't faze him at all. You know, I understand him as a fighter because I've been studying him for nearly a decade now. He wants that challenge. You'll have it next. In his first fight, he actually wanted Alexander Povetkin. Now, K2 still owns his registration rights. It's not Eddie Hearn. Ignore all of that bullshit. It's actually K2. And their management company went to Povetkin directly and said, look, we want you anywhere you want in Russia, whether it's the UK, the US. Povetkin was keen on the fight, but not straight away. He said he wanted to build up to that fight in maybe 2 or 3 fights. That was their decision. So it's not a case that Usyk is trying to cherry pick low competition in his professional debuts? No, absolutely not. If Andy Ruiz was offered to him in the first fight, he would have taken it. Now, he made a decision to sign with the zone is because the heavy 3/4 of the heavyweight championship were residing within that particular network. So it was a logical decision for him to achieve his greatness in terms of becoming not only a unified cruiserweight champion, but now replicating that in the professional ranks so he can achieve greatness. So this guy is not cutting any corners whatsoever. That's what these people have got to realize. It's got nothing to do with Europeans hate Wilder whatsoever.
Corruption. You keep mentioning like he's the one making these decisions. Like he's part of the decision. It's a team. But realistically, it's not all him making this decision.
You don't know this guy. Look, Usyk has been very much autonomous from the very start. His training camps is pretty much him dictating what he does. The trainers and Yuri Tagashenko who work around him, plus all of the mental coaches who provide, certain aspects of his training. But Usyk has been very much like from the start. I've spoken with his old coach James Ali Bashir many a time, and he gave me a great deal of insight into what he was doing, even back in the amateurs as well. So he knows what he wants to do. He's got his career path mapped out.
So you're telling me every decision every pick that was announced that he was supposed to fight him, and it just fell out, was his decision. Every last one of them.
Whose decision was it for? Who do you think's decision was for Usyk to fight all these guys in their backyard?
Eddie Hearn.
Exactly. No manager, no promoter would advise that you do this.
Of course not.
Eddie Hearn is one of those guys that was part of that deal.
He wasn't with Eddie Hearn back then. He was K2. He's still K2.
He's K2.
Gypsy,
whatever
but it's
his promoters are telling him.
Gypsy.
What is it? Whatever goes on. There's a guy that actually does the matches, right? He picks out the matches. Out of the team, I think that's probably the coach. Probably the coach is one of those guys or somebody that actually makes the match. It's like, okay, this is a good matchup. There's a guy like that in the team, in every fucking well-known fighter's team.
Yes,
it's the same thing though.
It's a team effort, but ultimately it's all on the fighter, bro. Ultimately, it falls all on him.
Well, yeah, he's gonna have to accept it or not.
Look, it's a business. It's your career, but it's what you're worth. It's the same thing. Who represents you is the same thing as what you are. They're a representation of what you're worth.
I believe that.
This is not
I don't believe that all decisions are made by the fighter himself. Like even Lomachenko's case, it's the same.
Well, that's obvious, bro. That's obvious. Let's just move past this point. That's just stating the obvious, basically. You're right, bro. You're right. I'm wrong. Let's move on, please.
Yeah, we bow to your infinite wisdom.
I'm sorry, bro.
Oh man, you're getting your balls busted left and right like Golovkin was the other night.
Don't tell him. I saw a bunch of fucking illegal blows to the back of the head, bro. I saw a lot.
Bro, you always have to take the bait, bro. Just let it go sometimes.
Shut up! I don't, man. Okay, all right, let it go.
Shut up! Shut up and take the pain. As far as becoming a late bloomer, you don't do it by taking easy fights. A lot of the guys, if it doesn't break you, it makes you stronger. A lot of guys that become late bloomers take a lot of losses in tough fights where they learn. And it comes to a point where your age is going to start telling, where you start losing reflexes. And what's the case with Wilder? Is he going to all of a sudden gain a lot of boxing skills? You can't teach a dog new tricks.
You know something? And I understand why Usyk rather fight guys in his backyard. This is two incidents that, look, I'm not shitting on Ukrainian fans. Actually, they're pretty passionate about their fans. But I understand why it's not interesting to Usyk to take somebody to the Ukraine that's not from the Ukraine and fight them. They're crazy fans. I've witnessed it, how they boo the shit out of Triple G, okay? And I saw how they treated Bivol before and after the fight. Okay, so there's a reason why he'd rather fight guys on the road. And this is what I'm trying to bring up is this is a credit to him. He loves his fans, and that's not going to change. But he knows that his fans could be very hostile, especially if you happen to be from Russia. So he'd rather fight you in your backyard. And trust me, he could have pulled that card on them if he wanted to, because he was the A side or the more notable fighter in that cruiserweight tournament by far.
No, man, he makes those fights in their backyard to make it easier so they could accept the fight. That's what it is. That's why I commend him for that shit. Because you know how bitches whine, oh, my territory. No, my territory. That's the reason why AJ and Wilder never happens, because one guy wants it in England, one guy wants it in America.
And to be fair, Ukraine is a pretty impoverished country by European standards. Just FYI.
Oh yeah, not to mention that there's a war going on over there.
Exactly.
Yeah, listen, that's my.
They're not gonna have the
That's my
World Cup
point.
there.
That's my point. And like, he could. What I'm saying is, he could have very easily said, "Fight me in the Ukraine." And I'm just saying, from my experience. Now this is two. I wasn't in Chicago, obviously, but I was in New York. Second time, they're a very hostile crowd. They are. They just, they're passionate about their fighter. And if you happen to be from somewhere else, especially in the Eastern Bloc, they let you know about it.
Yo, when they booed Bivol, I felt bad for him, and I was immediately reminded one of the reasons why I fucking left Chicago, man. Because the people in Chicago, not everybody, but man, it's just a lot of scumbags over there, man. And it doesn't matter like what skin color you are. Chicago's just full of fucking scumbags, as is New York.
Yes, it's like that too in New York. They have the same kind of vibe.
New York.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You guys telling me you guys a bunch of scumbags?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me? You guys a bunch of scumbags? Is that what you're telling me?
Yo, Cali gets a bad rep because of some like bad apples, but people in California are fucking teddy bears, bro.
Yeah, I got people like
nice people
over there. You got douchebags over there.
Yeah, California's really big. There's a lot of countries, just like these little pockets in the cities.
Or as Usyk would say, they're what did he say? They're kind cat pussies.
The fuck
cat pussy.
I don't know about that, man, because Andy Ruiz is from fucking.
Did you guys hear that interview? Did you hear that interview?
No, I didn't. No.
People are always saying that Usyk is some kind of psychopath or something like that. I don't get that, but whatever. And he said, "No, I am kind cat pussy."
And
no,
he looks like a serial killer.
I mean, obviously he meant to say I'm a kind pussy. I'm a little pussy cat or whatever.
Yeah.
He does have pussy eyes, though.
I have to say something. I mentioned it in the beginning. What do you guys think? I do think it would suit him better if he gained a few extra pounds. What do you guys think?
That's what he's trying to do.
I feel like he's fine where he's at, but maybe you guys have a better point. I don't know. I feel he's fine. He just needs to lean.
None of us know. His team will do all the things they need to do to figure that out. And the way I think they figure that out is by putting weight little by little and as naturally as possible. And then seeing how he feels with, maybe like 2-3 extra pounds in the lats or whatever. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but they're going to put the weight on very, very slowly and gradually and see how he feels. And if he gets to that point where he feels he's too heavy and it's slowing him down, they're going to bring him back down. So they may not. I liked him at 215. I thought the power was good, the speed was good, the movement was there. However, if you can make him heavier and still retain all of that, then by all means do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a recalibration exercise. Because
hey, change the subject, guys. I looked at Kovalev and Canelo situation.
All right, now we're gonna.
I gotta say, I'm gonna go with Kovalev on this one, and they're gonna rob him at the end.
All right. That's good enough. That's enough. All right, it's 269. You're on the air. 269. No, sorry. 262. 262.
Hey yo.
Yeah, who is this? What do we call you?
Hey, yo, hey, this is Alex Stancato, Las Vegas.
Perfect. What's on your mind?
Nah, there's a lot to say about Usyk and all the fights and the heavyweights, and the one thing that just it's in my mind, man. You better knock that dude out. You better knock that dude out, bro. If that dude's around 6, 7, 8 rounds, you can have all the power in the world, though. You gotta get rid of that dude, otherwise you're in trouble, man.
You know you're boxing.
Can I address something? How come Mustang says that I blocked him? I have not blocked him. I have not blocked anybody. I don't do blocking. My name ain't Triple J.
Yeah, but let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic, Gypsy. The caller's saying something.
Yeah, go
no,
ahead.
it's true, man.
Yeah. He dropped. Anyways, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Yeah, go ahead, Gonzalo.
Now it's gonna say, yeah, that's the way it goes with him. You know, he'll break you down steadily to where what you're gonna offer him, he's gonna match that. If Usyk goes in there and tries to knock a guy out, even though he could, what's gonna happen in the second round? If he can't knock him out, the other guy's gonna step it up to where Usyk's gonna try to match you little by little. What you can offer him, he's gonna replicate that and do a little more to steadily take over. And that's the way he chips you down to, like what the caller was saying. After 8 rounds, you need to try to knock him out, like he said. But if you don't, steadily he's chipping away to where in the end he's gonna knock you out. Like, you know, that's why the guys quit, because it's gonna be in brutal fashion. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I could have phrased it a little different, but I'm pretty sure you guys understood me.
Yeah, I got the point.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Usyk is gonna be troll for anybody. That's basically it, right?
When I saw him,
yeah, go ahead.
When I saw him get in rhythm, I saw him as he could have stopped this guy from like the 5th round and said, "Let me just get another 2 more rounds in." Like personally, that's what I thought. And that's a good sign because look, again, Chaz Witherspoon was literally a sparring partner, but that's true, and I would agree if anybody felt that way. But at the same time, talking about a guy that's 30 pounds heavier than him, probably naturally more like 40 to 50 pounds heavier than him, and it goes to show you when he puts on a little extra weight, he's gonna have power with that because he's still got speed. Speed generates power, especially for a guy like Usyk. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be hard to hit, especially for those guys that are more active, which makes him think faster. And, of course, please, like, I agree with you. The world agrees with you. This is the heavyweight business. We know.
Everything can end with one punch. Could you stop repeating that, people?
Yes.
The motherfucker looks like he's already on speed, though.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. We have a phone call. 702. You're on the air. 702.
Ucha, I'm echoing.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. 702. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Who is this? What do we call you?
702.
Yeah, this head honcho. I'm from DC.
Perfect. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, this Usyk is a bum.
Go ahead.
Why do you boxing channels just hype up like certain boxes? I'm talking about you guys, the LDB.
What you mean by certain? What you mean by certain?
Like, what has Usyk done? He came up and fought Witherspoon. Witherspoon's garbage.
I don't like that word
you
certain.
Start putting them on Mount Rushmore.
I don't like that word
Sound
certain.
like
I feel some racial on that one.
No, who cares what you like? Nobody asked you. This
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. You seem a little racist. That's all I'm saying.
Don't address this guy. Clearly, he doesn't know anything about boxing. Clearly, he's not here to talk about boxing. Let's let him say what he wants to say, and let's just let him go. Let's not address this guy. Come on, man, please.
Come on.
Why?
He don't let me say what I want to say.
Yeah, let him
say
talk.
What I want to say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go on, Poncho. Go on, carry on.
So listen, what did Usyk do?
Somebody wants to take
What
this
did he
question.
do that you're hyping him up today?
Okay. Who wants
No,
to take
let
this?
it
Can I
go.
say something?
Just let this guy go. Come.
No,
Why?
I just want to say something.
Why? Come on, man. We can't stoop
You can't
down to
take my
this
opinion?
level.
Yo,
I'm just
you
gonna say,
can't
for
take
you
my
to ask that
opinion, so you
question,
let me go?
you're a racist.
Bro,
I'm not
you
racist. I'm
can't.
not even black.
You can't
We live in
argue
a
with this stupid person. They're gonna drag you down to their level and beat you at their game.
How am I dragging you down? Cause I'm asking you about your opinion. You can't answer.
I'll answer him real quick. You got to start somewhere. He was undisputed cruiserweight champion, and he's taking his first fight. You got to start somewhere in life.
Gonzalo. Do you not think this person knows this? Do you not think that he knows that this is a fact? Does it matter to them? Do you think you saying what he already saw in Boxrec is going to change his mind about what he has to say? No, this is why it makes no sense to address these people.
Wait. Yo, listen.
What the fuck you mean he doesn't know?
Let me.
Well, then all the more reason not to address him. Let this guy. Let him say what he wants to say, and just hang up on him, man. Come on, it's just retarded, man. This. Come on, man. Like
I'm a big
you gotta bring the show down to this level. Oh.
One last comment from.
Bring the show what down? The show is already down. I'm bringing the show up, man.
All right. You want to? All right, just one last comment. One last comment. This is kind of funny, but one last comment. Go ahead.
So you can't take somebody's opinion, right? You can't take somebody's opinion. That's bringing the show down, right?
All right, go ahead. Okay, what do you want to say?
What did I just say? I just said Usyk was the truth at cruiserweight, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the best. I'm an Usyk fan, but once he gets to heavyweight, you got to start over.
Okay.
Don't start hyping him up at heavyweight, man.
Okay.
Who's hyping him up?
You
are you related to
hyping him up? I can't distinguish between the different voices, but there's people. Usyk is great. Oh my God, Usyk.
See what I mean?
You racist. You racist.
Bro, let her go. Let her go.
You want to?
You racist. You racist pig.
You want to break down the Wilder Usyk fight for us?
Goofy ass nigga.
Can you break?
Pig.
Can you break down the Usyk Wilder fight, please, if it ever happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wilder hits him with a right, and then Usyk goes to sleep.
Oops, that wasn't the sound I wanted to play.
Excellent breakdown. Excellent breakdown.
Yeah, break it. Hey, Honcho, thanks for the call and call.
So you can see into the future.
Yeah.
So you can see into the future.
Excellent. That's good.
I didn't know I was.
You remind me why I don't go to DC.
Yeah, go ahead.
You remind me of why I don't want to go to DC anymore.
Man, stop crying like a baby, man. You can't even talk to somebody. Like, I got an opinion.
Nah, I'll mess with you. Listen, man, I don't agree with you. Fuck off.
Nah, we don't agree, but
you have
That's
the
all
right.
you gotta say.
No, that's good. Listen. We got your point.
That's all you gotta say. Why?
Well, listen.
Yeah.
We get.
Right.
I don't agree with anything you have.
They do anything.
All right. Listen, Honcho. I think that's your name. Sorry.
I said Poncho
Poncho from DC.
It's a Mexican.
Yeah, he's Mexican.
Listen, Poncho.
Man, you're a goofy nigga, man. I just told you it's Head Honcho.
Oh, Hancho. Sorry.
Oh, Head Honcho.
Head Honcho. Let me write it down here. All right, guy. Great call, man. Call back again next time. All right.
It's tattooed on your mom's buttocks.
All right.
Oh, you're great.
Yeah, educated.
What's tattooed on his mom's buttocks?
He's got Usyk's name is on his mother's
He's an
ass.
educated person. All right, thanks, man.
Oh God.
I hope your community does well.
Just pull the plug on this motherfucker.
Oh, he's from Yale, I think. All right, we have another phone call here.
The ghetto of DC.
Yeah, fuck. 805, you're on the air. 805.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Puga Lakin again.
Oh yeah. What's on your mind? What's up? Welcome to the show.
Just one thing for precise. Hey, man, I ain't no teddy bear, man. That's not cool, right? Anyway,
Not bad.
the way I see the fight, like Usyk did what he had to do. He did what I personally expected him to do, go a few rounds, especially after such a long layoff and the bicep injury. I did want him to get some rounds in. I did not want to see a knockout in the first 3 rounds. I wanted him to get comfortable on it. I just finished reading an article that said that he
90
does want to pack on
seconds.
some more weight if he does it correctly. So I think that's something that we should expect from him in his next fight. As far as his next fight, although I do think that he's already capable enough to challenge for a world title, I'd like to see him against maybe a top 15 heavyweight. Maybe someone the likes of, I don't know, maybe like Chisora or maybe Oscar Rivas or someone around that level before he goes for a world title. That's what I personally would want to see. But if his team and himself want to go
60 seconds.
Mandatory, then who are we to stop him? You know, if he wants to achieve greatness, then definitely he's not taking any shortcuts.
Yo, bro, don't take that word. Wait, don't take that word teddy bear to offensive, man. Teddy bears fucking maulers, bro. They're bears, bro. They're maul fucking motherfuckers.
Hey,
That
I
sounded
got a
offensive.
question. I got a question for Bugliacan.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Can I ask a question? So you're saying you want to see him in there with like someone like Chisora or whatever. Is Joe Parker one of them guys?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess someone like that, you know, just to gauge where his skills put him up against like the name heavyweights per se. Not exactly maybe a top 5 heavyweight, but someone with a name. Someone
10
that can
seconds.
to see
I
how
really
he-
think that's the
with
fight
other
that's gonna be. They're gonna try to make that fight next.
Joseph Parker, right?
I'd like the one with Takam since a lot of the heavyweights already fought Takam. I would have wanted that one to see how he compares with the other ones. Fortunately, he didn't get it. But this whole talk about Wilder, like just these beautiful breakdowns with scientific approaches. Oh, Wilder's going to knock him out in the first round. You know, those enlightening breakdowns. I don't see them mentioning that Wilder, his fight, he's pretty chinny. Brazil hurt him. He did hurt him. Even he got him out in one round, Brazil did buckle him.
Yeah, he did.
With a slap, bro. He buckled him with a slap.
Up against the ropes with his back bent with no leverage as well.
Brazil hit him 2 times in the
this
chin with
talk,
the right hand.
Yeah, all this talk that he's gonna knock him out, you know, like it could happen. You know, Wilder has power. No one's debating that. It could happen. Whether it is or not, I don't think it is. I just think Usyk's a little too skilled for that. But like you said, if it's such an easy fight for Wilder, then he should definitely take it. Undisputed champion.
This whole idea that we're like fanboys of Usyk or whatever, just because we're picking a fight, we're allowing for the possibility, and it's a pretty good possibility that Wilder knocks him out. Any of these guys beat him. Like, we're not fooling ourselves. But when it comes to breaking down a fight from, you know, these so-called boxing experts, it's like Wilder lands the right hand and fight's over, and there's no other way the fight could go. When we've heard that a million times. That's why, like, talking to these people, man, you ain't getting nowhere.
Who is
You know that
enlightening
when you guys mentioned Oscar Rivas, right? The guy, what's his name, mentioned Oscar Rivas. That's actually not a bad matchup at all. That's a matchup that I think Usyk might have some problems in that matchup. That's a tough son of a bitch.
As a fan, I'm not really into this whole thing about bad matchups or not. If you're a better fighter, your skills will display it. That's what boxing is. You put your skills against the other guy's skills, and we see whose skills come out on top. That's what boxing is. Well, obviously that's not what it is nowadays, but you know that's the way I approach it.
All right. Thanks for the call, man. We have to restart the phone lines over here.
Right,
but
man.
thanks for the call.
Oscar Rivas is too much straight down the middle. He operates in straight lines. That wouldn't be a difficult fight.
I was thinking the same thing, Corruption.
No, what I mean by like difficult, listen. What I meant by difficult is he can take hits and he could come at you, deliver his. He could just walk through shit. He's a tough.
You're right, Gypsy. But I think it falls. He could still be a tough matchup. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that falls into what Usyk is great at. Usyk is going to be a problem. Listen, he's going to be a problem for any fucking orthodox fighter. Period. Just watch. Just pay attention. It's a fucking nightmare, bro. He's a lefty specialist when it comes to fighting orthodox fighters.
Would anybody on this panel? Sorry, Corruption. Would anybody pick Rivas to beat Usyk? Anybody? Like, honest prediction. No one would. So why do we want to see that fight? Let's see Usyk in a fight that he could actually lose.
I honestly don't know because I haven't seen Usyk fight.
But what do you need to see?
Else.
Gun to your head. Gun to your head. Who?
Yeah,
Give me
if I had to pick gun to my head, I would probably go with Usyk.
There you
But
go.
thing is, though,
Let's
Well, why do you
look. All I'm saying is let's put him in a fight that we think he could actually lose. But I interrupt the corruption, so let the man speak.
I was just going to say that the style that I think is going to be or could cause him some problems is that a fighter, probably an orthodox fighter that has a very good left hook. That's because we know with Usyk, he likes that lead hand control and he likes lead foot control, having his lead foot on the outside. So he's pivoting off always to the left hand side of an orthodox fighter. Now, if you've got a fighter who's actually very good, who can actually move and rotate, anticipate, and try and shut Usyk's movements down with a left hook to stop him pivoting on that side, that's the sort of style that could cause him trouble if he can shut down his movements on that side. But saying that, Tony Bellew's best punch was a left hook as well, but Usyk was able to shut that down as well by once he neutralized his jab and his straight right hand and his left hook, he started moving the other way and changing the trajectory of his punch to knock him out as well. So his adaptations in the ring against any style, what I've seen is actually very good. So there's no real blueprint on how to beat the guy.
I think Fury is his best competition. I would bet I'll probably fly to England if they do it in England. I'll probably fly to England to watch that fight, bro.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's the fight. That's we want to see boxing skills. Those are the two to put them up against each other. That'd be one hell of a fight.
Look at Tyson Fury in his phase 2 now. He fought Safiri, a cruiserweight from I don't know where he was, but he wasn't even ranked number 1 in his domestic country. Then he fought an Italian guy, Pianetta or whatever. Then Deontay Wilder, then Tom Schwartz, and then the Swedish guy, Otto Wallin. So what's that, 5 fights? No knockouts, not even a single knockdown in any of those fights. The dude has absolutely no power whatsoever. So I don't think it's going to be a major problem for Usyk in that power side. But
nah, he has power, bro. He just doesn't sit on his punch. He has power.
I don't think he has any power.
Yeah, that's your opinion, but you might be right.
Look at the Tom Schwartz fight.
I'm telling you that he has power.
Okay.
You can't have no power and stop a guy like Chisora.
Look at the Tom Schwartz fight. The Tom Schwartz fight was 100% a fixed fight. That dude was not even remotely hurt. His guard was still up. His eyes were still very much at the front of his head. They weren't rolled at all. But that was a German fighter.
Corruption. If you know Schwartz well enough, you would know that he has no heart. I saw in his previous fight. He has no heart. Same thing with Witherspoon. Another guy that doesn't have heart. He had no heart. Once he got hurt, he started shelling up and he started giving up. He had no heart. But somebody like Wallin had heart. But Wallin kind of got lucky with that cut. Because Fury would have, he was sharpshooting from far away, would have probably got a decent punch in there, a better punch than slugging it out and, in close range and beating him up in the close range.
But Wallin was able to very later on in the fight.
With a good punch.
Yeah. Wallin was able to actually not only match him on the Fury to try and protect his cut. He decided to fight at short range, which is a strategic move. But at short range, what happened? His defense was non-existent. It's because Fury elects to try and roll with the punches with his head whatsoever. He doesn't use a conventional guard, nor does he try and slit the punches with upper body movement. So Wallin was actually doing a good job on the inside and hurt him later on in the fight. Tyson Fury's defenses at that short range is terrible. He hasn't learned anything.
You're right about that. He ain't that good at that close because of his long reach that he has.
Because it's just basically because of his length. Look, at 6'9", you can't be a guy that don't have power. It's the thing. By the time you turn that big frame over, when you have to reset, it's gonna take some time for you to throw those punches and reset again. So basically, his pity patting is equivalent to like what a smaller heavyweight usually punches at, as far as power wise. That's the thing. He could punch hard, but imagine turning over that shot
by the time it reaches its destination, then you leave a lot of holes in your game. That's why pity patting is good for him because he can give punches off and he's still got that big frame where he's still got power behind him, but he's not
Dude, he
fully
got
committed.
popped. Gonzalo, he got popped, man. I'm telling you right now, the guy has pop. There's no feather fisted with that dude. He got pop. You know, he knows.
Yeah,
He doesn't choose. Yeah,
he does, but you need more than pop to beat Usyk, and he's got more than pop. Don't get me wrong. Look, Tyson Fury. I think it's safe to say I've probably been the biggest believer in the guy on the panel. Let me tell you, man, I'm seeing like serious signs of him going downhill, man. I think I'm not gonna say like he's done, obviously, but he's not improving. He's making the same mistakes he did in the Wilder fight that got him knocked down. He just had the worst performance of his career, I think. Tyson Fury is on the down, unless he proves me wrong in this next fight. To me, it looks like he's on the downside of his career.
He's all or nothing.
Yeah, guys.
He's all or nothing. He's a guy that can do good, then maybe do really bad based on his personality, the bipolar thing.
Guys, we need to take a quick phone call here. 188. Is this Muscle? No, 818. I says. Yeah, Muscle. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, King Bucho?
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I took a nap. I woke up and I looked and I see you guys been streaming for like an hour and 12 minutes. So I missed the first hour or 2 hours of the show. But I guess we're talking about Usyk, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, before I get started, just real quick, I'm gonna show my channel for a second. I do have both the Usyk and Bivol fights in HD in full on my channel, and I have Friday's Terry Flanagan fight also in full on my channel. So for anyone listening, it's Martial Ministry. If you guys missed the fights, you could catch it there.
All right, perfect. Now your thoughts on the fight.
My thoughts on the fight. Well, the first fight wasn't so bad. I was kind of saddened for Bivol because he got booed by the crowd afterwards. It's like, well, what do you want? He completely blanked him and dropped him. Why put himself in danger going for a reckless knockout? Why are you booing this guy? And I felt it in his tone, like he was upset in the post-fight interview. He was like shocked and upset, like, what the hell? Why am I getting booed? I'll repeat what I said on Nordic's post-fight video about the Bivol fight. It's like, well, how did knocking out guys left and right work out for Kovalev and Golovkin? You know, they were avoided. So maybe not the best
that is
strategy.
true.
Maybe do what Alexander Grozdik did. Did he play possum in the fight before landing the Stevenson fight, where he went 12 with some no-name?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, good point.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer this one?
Go ahead.
The difference between somebody like Bivol and Gennady Golovkin is that Bivol is concerned about, like, maybe in the future, you know, how his life going to be if he takes too many shots. He's the type of guy that likes the art of hitting and not getting hit, and that's his thing. He doesn't care about he gets a knockout or not. As long as he doesn't get hit and hits you, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters for him,
all
and
right.
that's why he's I think he has a long career, and he's going to be some top dog eventually.
All right.
If he hasn't fucking lost the goddamn round.
All right, we gotta move on. We have another call. Muscle, anything else you want to say?
No, the Usyk fight just went whatever it is, what it is. You know, I just hope he fights by. I really hope he fights in either late December or early January, and then lands his mandatory fight against winner of Ruiz and Joshua like sometime in May or June or whatever. I think that'll be perfect if it goes that way.
All right, man. All right, thanks for calling. You can call back after if you want. All right, take care.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have another phone call. 786. All right, hold on. 786, you're on the air. 786.
Hola, caballero. ¿Cómo están todos? This is Francisco from the Cuba. How's everybody doing out there?
Oh, you're the Cuban who called the other day. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Sounds a little bit like BDA.
Go ahead, Don.
Yo soy cubano, y todo aquí en Cuba sabemos la verdad. Okay, here in Cuba, we all know the truth. Okay, the truth is the Alexander Usyk, he good fighter. You know, he good fighter. We give him the credit, all the credit in the world. But you gotta remember, Luis Ortiz, the best heavyweight in the world. Okay, in the world.
Do you think he get knocked out by Wilder though?
Is this Fidel Castro?
He got he got knocked out. Okay, he got knocked out. But the referee with the Yankee imperialism saved him. Okay, he saved him.
Okay, so you think that what do you think is gonna happen in the rematch now with Ortiz and Wilder?
What I think is gonna happen, he's gonna come in with the power. With the power we bring from the Cuba is all the best power, okay? No, that imperialist bullshit. I sorry for curse, you know, I try not to curse too much, but the problem is Luis Ortiz is not gonna get a fair shake, but he's gonna come back with the power, and that is going to erase all the corruption in the United States and the fat imperialist pigs.
Okay. Anybody else has any
BDA.
question?
Hey,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
BDA.
What? It sounds like who is?
Sounds like BDA, bro. But okay, whatever.
And you know, I have a lot of experience. Yo tengo mucha experiencia aquí en Cuba, okay, with the revolutionaries. I want to tell you, Mr. BDA, I want to tell
La cosa en Cuba está malo, brother.
Óyale, que tenemos un hermano cubano aquí. Tengo un hermano cubano. Oye, cubano, ¿cómo te llamas?
Parte cubano.
Send me some Cuban cigars, bro.
No entero, porque yo soy boricua también.
Una cosa que usted tiene que entender, que tenga un poquito de respeto.
Yo tengo respeto, señor.
Do you know what the word respect means?
Estoy hablando de con respeto.
Okay, well, you know what? I give you my prediction, okay, and I keep it short and I keep it sweet, okay, azucarado. I give you the news. Luis Ortiz, he's gonna knock Deontay Wilder out. He's gonna knock him out. They're taking me. I have to go back to the jungle. We're still here in the jungle with confined, and we're going to attack soon. But I have to tell you, before I go, I tell you right now, Luis Ortiz, 5th round KO, and you can put that in the bank all the way.
All right, Don Francisco. What's your name again? I forgot, man.
Don Francisco from Cuba. Don Francisco from the Cuba. You come see me in Havana. We have a good time. Cigar, música, salsa, merengue, everything.
All right, man. All right, thanks for the call, then.
Hey, go
I've never heard a Cuban say "órale," but
yeah, that was a little weird.
All right, that's a weird call, man. I have another one. 904, you're on the air. 904.
What's going on, man? This is Andrew Tucker World. I don't know if you guys know me or not, but anyway, shout out to BDA Boxing.
All right.
I just want to say, man, that listen, Arthur Spilker was able to give Deontay Wilder trouble. He gave him some trouble in that fight. You understand? He gave him problems. So if Arthur Spilker was able to give Deontay Wilder a tough time, what you think Usyk gonna do? Usyk is a skilled fighter. We're talking about an undisputed fighter at cruiserweight. What you think Usyk is gonna do, bro? People saying Usyk he ain't gonna be able to do this. He ain't gonna be able to do that. Do people know? Do they understand how skilled Usyk is? He's a skilled fighter, bro. Superior fighter.
He is,
volume punching.
He is, bro.
Good footwork, good timing, good head movement. I think he need to work on his defense a little bit more. But the guy is a smart fighter, can make adjustments, can break his opponent down, bro. If you think it's gonna be easy for Wilder just to set up there, see, Wilder can hit a guy with the right hand if he's just a stationary target. If he's just sitting right there in front of him.
This is true.
A guy that's gonna move, that's gonna throw punches from different angles, that's gonna be able to throw him off his game, that's gonna offset him and frustrate him. It's not gonna be easy for him to land that right hand. Look what Tyson Fury was able to do with Wilder.
Yeah,
Tyson
I just
Fury
want to
was
say
playing
that.
around. That's why he got caught. That's why he got caught twice. He got caught, I think the first knockdown, he wasn't really, I don't think Tyson Fury, I can't really count that knockdown, but the second knockdown was a legit knockdown. Tyson Fury was playing around with Wilder, man. That's why he got caught with that knockdown. That's why he got knocked down the second time, because he was playing around with Wilder. He made a mistake and he got caught. But Tyson Fury was outboxing.
Can I say something?
Well, I just want to say that Honcho
Styles make fights, bro. Styles makes fights. The style that Spilka has is not the same style.
Yeah, and I think Usyk's style is terrible for Wilder.
I'm not saying it ain't terrible. It's terrible for Wilder. Usyk's style is terrible for Wilder. It's just style. It's a different type of style.
I was hoping to hear a little bit more of the call, a little less.
I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. Style makes fights, but you got to understand, Usyk is a volume puncher, throws a lot of punches, throw punches from different angles. He's good at frustrating certain fighters, and I believe his style will frustrate Deontay Wilder. You got to remember, Deontay Wilder have never faced an opponent like Usyk, bro. Trust me, he will never face the opponent like Usyk, bro. And if that fight was to ever take place and happen, just know I'm gonna be the first to say this. If nobody else has said this before, his style, Usyk's style, is a style that gives a fighter like Deontay Wilder hell. He's gonna give that man hell, bro. Trust me.
I agree with the caller, man.
I agree more with Honcho. I think Honcho from DC had a better breakdown, but well, go ahead, Corruption.
Yeah,
no, I think
Honcho said right hand.
Saying. I mean, I respect your opinion.
I'm joking. I'm being
man.
sarcastic. This other guy when we asked him to break down the Wilder Usyk fight, he just said Wilder's gonna land the right hand. I was like, all right, well, great breakdown. Go ahead, Corruption.
Yeah, not sure what the caller's name is. I missed it. He made a number of excellent points. Now, look at the Arthur Spilka
Andrew
fight.
Tucker. I'm Andrew Tucker. I'm on YouTube, man. I'm Andrew Tucker. I'm a boxing channel as well.
Spilka, like physically, is not too dissimilar from Usyk in terms of, the size, in terms of his height and the sort of upper body being quite bulky. Also a southpaw as well. Now, Spilka had absolutely no defense, but his only defense, what gave Wilder so much trouble for over 7-8 rounds, he was just simply bobbing and weaving to try and get inside Wilder's jab in his right hand. And he was able to do that at will, but with no conventional head movement. Like, head movement on the inside was non-existent, nor was he coming up with a tight guard to actually block. So he was pretty much there for Wilder in the later rounds, but early on, when he was bobbing and weaving and firing that left hand, and forcing Wilder an explosive power puncher who had to keep resetting and turning, it shows the vulnerability in these explosive power punchers who need all that time to try and set up their punches and couldn't do it.
Right.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I feel you, man. I gotta run, man. But yeah, shout out to BDA Boxing, man. Yeah, I followed you for a little minute, man. I subscribed to the channel about 2 weeks ago. But yeah, you guys keep doing your thing, man. That's all I had to say, man. But I appreciate you breaking that down to me.
Thanks, man.
For me, brother. I
sure.
appreciate that.
Andrew Tucker, check out his channel on YouTube. All right. Thanks for the call, man.
All right, no problem, man.
Okay, we have. I think it's Virtuoso. Virtuoso, is that you?
Yeah, man. You got me.
What's up? Go ahead.
Just ditto to what the previous caller said. Hey, what's up, guys? Just ditto to what the previous caller said. I mean, it's funny how people in chat rooms, Facebook, and even people around here, in the live chat, they see a picture of Usyk, with Marcus on his face, and they like to extrapolate their opinions and thinking that he's gonna die in the ring against Wilder. Okay. Sure, if he wants to stand in the pocket like at mid-range, and brawl, yeah, he'll expedite that process. But I've never seen Wilder, fight like mobile targets that give him problems. It's like Usyk just wins fights, not just with his hands, hand speed, good combination, but he wins with his feet, and I think movement is key. And I think if they were to fight, I think he would have Wilder would have so much trouble with him because he would just
Somebody
he
needs
would
to
just
mute
turn
their
him,
mic, man.
turn him and and get around that jab, and roll that big power sweeping right hand, And it's true that Wilder is a sniper, but if he throws from long range, man, and if you get inside his reach, he's not going to be able to, get his hands ready into position to block. Because I think Usyk might look to counterpunch, that this is what my take would be, It's volume basically against one punch. And Wilder's defense is just leaky. So I don't think that fight is going to happen anytime soon. So it's not worth it for Usyk to be dragged down into this media circus surrounding that fight, and go into a social media war. That's for the fans. So yeah, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, Wilder's not going to be able to get off very much. I'm hearing myself. Can you guys mute your mics, please? The feints, the movement, Wilder needs to be set to throw meaningful punches. When someone like Usyk gets in the ring with him and he starts feinting him, starts moving around him, starts throwing punches at him, what you're gonna see Wilder getting off when Usyk is already out of range, when he's at an angle and Wilder's throwing some crazy wild shit because it's safe. It's going to look awful for Deontay. I just can't imagine him dealing with this very sound technical guy that's got the speed. He's got the angles. I mean, it's a nightmare matchup for Deontay Wilder. Look at Luis Ortiz, who had slow ass feet, but all he had was some angles, and he was a southpaw, and he's the same size as Usyk. Basically, he's just fat and old, but he's the same size as Usyk, and that dude, Wilder went life and death with this dude. I mean, simply because he had angles and he had technical ability. But take away some of the power, add speed, foot, hand speed, combination punching, add all these things that Ortiz doesn't have. It's a fucking nightmare matchup for Wilder. Don't expect this fight to ever happen.
Whoa. All right.
And plus, you get so happy.
Since we're butchering Usyk, not Usyk, Wilder. I'll have one thing on the defense of Wilder, so it's like equal grounds, let's just say. The thing with Wilder is when he throws his shot with his right hand, in not all cases, not against maybe Tyson Fury, because he thought he was just going to KO him, and he thought Tyson Fury's he's washed up or whatever in the beginning. The thing is, though, he is cautious when he fights somebody, especially if he fights somebody like Usyk. He's very cautious to just automatically commit to that right hand. He will like to see where. That's why he's on the back foot. He's like to see where he can actually catch him when he's making that mistake, and then deliver that on full commitment with the right hand.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
that's
like he just throws. Yeah.
That also works against him. You see?
Yeah, it does.
Because you're on a clock, and while you're thinking, and you got the other guy punching, what's happening there? What's happening in that exchange? You're losing, right?
Yeah,
you're losing.
You're not active, so.
Yeah.
And also, Gypsy, you're telling is something that you can pick up on based on his position. He's telegraphing his shot already because he's leaning back. He's being cautious. You can kind of pick up to know when he's gonna throw it.
The last thing Wilder wants to do is give Usyk time to think. There's no way this checkers player wins with the chess player. That's just not going to happen. Forget about it. If he wants to beat Usyk, he needs to go after him and just throw all caution to the wind like he did against Fury in those last few rounds. That's how he needs to fight him. Letting Usyk think, come on, man.
Yeah, he's going to be in trouble.
I don't know, man. I think that's probably a bad game plan if you just rush that Usyk. Usyk's just going to back up. He's going to back up and counter him. I think his best option would probably be on the back foot, waiting until he does something, and then countering. That's the best option.
So
that's usually how
basically what you're saying, that you're giving the fight away and you're having to where Usyk dominates, but then you have that slim chance or a good chance that Wilder can knock him out, but that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, that's his chances, bro. He's not going to outbox the guy. He can't outbox that dude. The best chance he got is that chance. He's got to fight off the back.
A come from behind win, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. But
he's the favorite. His only chance
I'm
is a
not saying.
puncher's chance.
Well, that's what he does.
Hold
That's
on,
the
hold
thing,
on,
though.
hold on, hold on, bro. Let me finish. His only. I'm not saying you're saying this exactly, but this is kind of the narrative. His only chance is a come from behind puncher's chance, but he's the favorite in the fight.
Like, who would make that bet, though? I mean, like, I don't know. At some point, he's gonna land a right hand. Like, I wouldn't be fucking feeling.
The reason why he would be the favorite is because he always manages to pull that right hand.
No,
that's why they would probably favor him for that reason. But
again,
that's
against
not good enough.
exactly, man. Let's look at
But you see, that's why I take into.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, he could beat Usyk. I'm not saying he can't. I would never say he can't beat Usyk. What I'm saying is, he has a puncher's chance. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
right?
every fight does, bro. It's like a
okay, every fight against limited competition.
Well,
right?
Fury wasn't really limited realistically, so you can't say that too. So like he did have a chance.
Well, I mean, okay, so he fought Ortiz. Credit for that. He fought Fury, lost. Right. So we already seen him when he fights when you ante up the competition. Right. When you start putting guys that can also beat him, he almost gets knocked out, and he loses in reality. He got a draw, but he lost that fight. Right. So
yeah.
So you would admit that
if it was a KO, but the thing is with that fight with Fury and him, it could have gone either way. If that KO was considered a KO, then that knockdown was considered a KO, then you would have given it to him. If a decision, obviously Fury wins that. The thing is, it could have gone either way. So I'm not really, when they gave that fight a draw, I was like, damn, Fury won that, but that could have also been considered a draw based off that, because of the fact that if it was a different ref, that fight would have been stopped. You never know. So for those reasons, I don't really take too much off of that. You know what I mean?
Yo, can we? If you guys agree or not, but can we actually talk about Usyk matching up with the guys where the fights are actually likely to happen? Because the Wilder fight ain't happening. We're spending so much time talking about that shit. It ain't gonna happen, man. Like, it'll take a miracle for that shit to happen. The more likely fights are Parker, Ruiz, and AJ. Those are the likely fights.
Yes.
Even Fury. But can we stop with Wilder? I'm getting tired of Wilder, especially his fans. I don't know how you guys feel, but you let me know.
They seem like the best fans out there, and they have the best arguments. So I don't know why Precise is all mad.
You know what? It's pretty cool to watch him fight Dylan White. That'll be interesting to watch.
No, it's
Dylan
enough,
White.
man. Listen, let's see through. Let's talk about. All right, Usyk said that he's willing to. Actually, it looks like that's what he wants. He wants the WBO title shot. So, all right, let's switch it up.
Joseph Parker makes the most sense, being that Parker was a WBO champion. He's with Matchroom, right?
Yeah.
That fight is easy to make.
He's number 3 in the WBO. I think Fury's number 2. Usyk's number 1. So
let me check.
Yeah.
WBO.
He's like 3 or 4. Fury's not gonna fight next. I don't see that.
But it makes sense what you said about Parker dropping out. He got sick. Give me a fucking break, man. Where the?
There was a rumor that it would be Usyk and Dillian White for the vacant WBO belt in November or December.
Parker
Won't White be suspended though? Didn't he just get busted? Is he available to fight?
He's
White had a post of him getting ready for another match or something.
Andy Ruiz is a WBO champion. After that, number 1 is Usyk. Number 2, Tyson Fury. Number 3, Joshua. Joseph Parker 4. So I guess Joseph Parker was number 4, but everybody got pushed down once Usyk moved to heavyweight. So
yeah, and Parker Ruiz are gonna fight. So the loser out of that is gonna get kicked down the ratings. The winner will be the guy with the title. So then there's Parker and Usyk basically left. So if they vacate, that's the fight, no?
Yeah, it's true. Because Fury isn't gonna fight. It's true.
What do you guys think? What the fight with Parker would be like? Would it be a stoppage, decision, win? What kind of?
I don't know, but I would more likely take Usyk's speed, The power that comes with naturally being 15 pounds heavier, just enough to win the fight.
I think it's a very tough fight that goes to the cards, my opinion.
Yeah.
Parker is durable, definitely. He
The
has
thing is,
punch
though,
resistance.
the thing is though, when Usyk was next to Parker, there's a picture of them like next to each other in the.
I saw it.
I forgot which fight. Yeah, he looked bigger than fucking Parker, bro. Like by an inch.
Yo, Usyk
Right?
is a. Did you check out the fucking the chest, the shoulders? I was like, this dude is a big fucking man. He's just a big dude. That's what I
Witherspoon
said,
was
man.
supposed to be 6'4", but I don't know how you guys saw it, but I thought Usyk was slightly taller than the 6'4" guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those
was
box
bigger
rec
than that,
6'4".
Witherspoon had like the frame that was bigger than Usyk.
Witherspoon looked a little taller because of his weight over Usyk, right? I don't know what was he 6'3", listed as 6'3" as well.
6'4".
Oh, I'm sorry,
No.
6'4". So it's legit, right? So he looks 6'4", where Parker looks 6'3" at best.
In a way, I usually don't say this about fighters, but I felt bad for him. The look of concern in that man, and when he gave up, because he was kind of out of shape. Yeah, that's a given. You can tell the kind of caliber of fighter he was facing. Just look at the way he was acting and his demeanor.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
It ain't
Usyk
just
is.
that, man. He got stopped by Areola, bro. He's the type of guy that
No,
doesn't really.
that was a
Yeah.
DQ, bro. Wasn't
That
that
was
a
a
DQ?
disqualification.
DQ?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
come on, man.
I got it confused.
I think he
Yeah, no.
fouled
Look, man.
him. He fouled him.
No, I think
He's
his
lost
opponent
4
jumped in or
fights.
something like that.
He's lost 4 fights, and a lot of those he was winning. He's got 39 victories with 28 KOs.
Not
not
for
that
nothing.
bad.
He fought in the Golden Gloves, and he won all those by knockouts. And I know people like to shit on the Golden Gloves, but there's really good competition in Philadelphia and New York area. That's a real tough one. I ain't gonna tell you how I did, but let's just say it's tough.
He's not great, man. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The dude's not great, and he was always going to show up and do his best. And as soon as he found out that his best wasn't good enough, he was just going to give up. Because why take a beating? It is what it is. I don't know why. There's not too much we could really say about that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a decent jab. He landed a good right hand in the first round.
Dude,
his punches were crisp. Like initially, they were very crisp. They were good, and they surprised Usyk. He really reminded me of Fast Eddie Chambers. They must have trained together, or they're both from Philly or something. Because he wasn't as fast, but the way he was snapping these punches from the guard, it really looked like Fast Eddie to me, man.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
comparison.
you know something. He's and I don't mean this in a bad way. He's a typical fighter out of the Northeast that competed in the Golden Gloves. You can see all the repertoire there that he has. It's not world level grade. It's a guy out of shape. It's the whole package. You know what I'm saying? But he did the best he could. I saw it as a sparring fight where Usyk was trying to figure out what kind of heavyweight he's going to be. But I think people are just reading way too much into it, and they're like, "Oh, he got hit."
What impressed me about Witherspoon is that the fact that sometimes when Usyk was gonna do something, react, he backed up pretty quick. He was good enough to back up and see that shit coming, whether it was a right hand or a jab coming at him, where the momentum was on Usyk's side. He was able to back up. I didn't think he would be able to do that, but he was able to back up just in time to avoid those shots. It was not that bad for a guy that
I think somebody mentioned, I think it was recognized, like a 4-round fighter. Basically, his conditioning was horrible, but his skills, although limited, would offer a little bit of resistance for a few rounds. But that's it.
You guys, speaking of sparring, you guys want to hear some sparring rumors when it comes to Usyk? I don't know how true they are, but I heard that when he sparred Klitschko, of all people, he did really well. But when he sparred Izu Ugono, he had issues with that guy. So for me, Parker and Izu are very similar, and I think Parker is a really tough fight for him, actually. and I
I mean,
like to see it.
if you look at that Dominic Brazil and Izu Agono fight, it was obviously a very exciting fight. Agono was getting the better of Dominic Brazil before he got knocked out. He's actually not a bad boxer from Nigeria. Kind of that sort of
It's
looping
hilarious, bro.
explosive sort of punches that come sort of weird angles. So yeah, there's definitely some potential danger there in that sort of style.
You, hey guys, it's hilarious though. A couple years back before Parker fought AJ, they were talking about was a year. I forgot what year it was that Parker fought AJ. Thing is, like they were talking about Parker as a schmuck. He ain't nothing. He's gonna get killed. Man. I was like, Parker's a decent fighter, bro. I think he might do something against AJ. I'm not saying
Yeah,
he'll win, but you had something going. They butchered this shit out of Parker, bro. They said Parker's this, all kinds of channels. Parker's that. Parker's fucking garbage. And now Parker's one of the top 5, not maybe top 6 heavyweight.
yeah. Now that you mentioned that fight with Joshua was lackluster. No, Joshua seemed hesitant. Okay, that's how that went. But when you're talking about Parker being a tough fight, yeah, he fought Dillian White that's got great power in that left hand, and he was able to deal with that. Okay, whatever happened, but still, it was a good competitive fight, and he dealt with the speed of Andy Ruiz. So basically, he's not that big, 6'4". He's like a slightly bigger version of a cruiserweight to what Usyk has dealt with before and fought in the past. But basically, he's just a little bit more powerful. It's a good fight. It's a competitive fight, and it's a hard fight.
People forget that the fact that Parker almost hurt, maybe probably even could have dropped AJ if it wasn't that little tape that he pulled off in that last second.
But
What was that? That
that's
was hilarious to me.
I mean, the fight Gonzalo was mentioning against Dillian White, that was an injustice of epic proportions. Everything was geared against Joseph Parker in that fight. If you remember, Dillian White deliberately came in extremely heavy. He was able to get away with, 20 or so rabbit punches, leaning on Joseph Parker on the ropes, bending his spine back. The early knockdown was clearly a headbutt that discombobulated him, and he was pretty dizzy throughout the fight. They ruled that as a scoring knockdown as well. So Joseph Parker had to endure the entire system, matchroom boxing, the home fighter, the judges, the referee, and how Dillian White got away with all of that shit, man. On top of all of this,
I got no love for Dillian White, man. Like
yeah, man,
because of that, I don't even
yeah,
rate that guy. He's just a cheater. Fuck him.
yeah,
You
man.
know, but
That was my
but
point.
like I think Usyk will excel with these bigger, slower guys. It's the little, quote unquote little. It's the small and more athletic guys that he will have problems with, in my opinion. It's like
Yeah.
Pacquiao Bradley, right? Pacquiao Marquez, tough fights, and then you got Pacquiao De La Hoya, Pacquiao Margarito. He destroys these bigger dudes, right? It's the little guys that could like match at least some of his athleticism that he had issues with, and I think Usyk is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing with Parker's issue is Parker's will is not there, bro. You saw it in the AJ fight after the 6th round. It just, even in the Dillian White fight, yeah, Dillian White was being dirty, but it's like he loses focus and he starts. I don't know, man. He just doesn't have that will. He doesn't continue on with the fight like he normally does in that first initial 4 or 5 rounds. He just loses that momentum that he has in that initial rounds. I guess maybe it's conditioning. Maybe he's not conditioned well.
Parker's just not a very technical guy. He doesn't adjust very well. He's an athletic type of guy. He's tough. He hits hard. He's got a good chin, but he's not a great adjuster and not a very good technical fighter, in my opinion. That's why like you say he loses focus. Yeah, he probably just kind of runs out of ideas.
Probably.
Yeah. If you've seen that fight, who did you have winning, him or Andy?
I had Andy, but I ain't gonna argue anybody, man. I had Andy personally.
I had AJ as well, but I thought that fucking strap shit was bullshit. I thought that shit was fucking rigged. Obviously, it's in England. They're gonna favor AJ.
Ruiz Parker in Australia or New Zealand.
Oh, Ruiz. I thought it was a close fight. I thought Ruiz pulled it off a little bit, but I understand why they gave it to Parker, because he had his moments in the fight as well. So it was like it
Yeah,
was a
to
close
be
fight. It wasn't a robbery or anything like that. And Ruiz, if you got Ruiz, I have initially had Parker. Then I rewatched it. I gave it to Ruiz. So it was like a close fight. So I can't really say anything about that.
to be fair to be fair to Joseph Parker, when Precise was mentioned about his lack of ability in making adjustments, the one adjustment that he did make, which perhaps won him the fight, certainly on cards in New Zealand, was that we know that Ruiz is a very decent, one of the best counter punchers, and where Joseph Parker was having trouble with his fast hands and getting beautifully countered, even despite Parker having fast hands, he later on realized that he was losing that all of those exchanges and battles. Thought, let me try and box a little bit more laterally and try and pot shot him, use his speed and his greater athletic foot speed on the outside, trying to get away from those exchanges at short range where he's having trouble. And that may have got him some late rounds, which perhaps gave him the decision
I'll
on the
agree with
board.
you there. I'll just caveat that with saying that
Yeah.
that's not a technical, it's a tactical adjustment. But yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
strategic. Yeah.
The thing that Parker has that most of these heavyweights do not have, they don't have it as good as he does, I would say, is the ability to roll his head with the punches. That's something that even as good as Tyson Fury is, he's not that good at with rolling punches as Parker is. Parker does it really, really good. That's why he hasn't really been knocked down until the fight with fucking Dylan White, when Dylan White caught him. That's the best thing that he has over anybody in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, and he's very young. What is he, like 27, 28?
He's young.
How old,
Yeah, 27.
how old is Usyk, by the way?
32.
32, yeah. Were you
But-
going to say something, Bucho?
Not really.
What about, because that's probably for a lot of people the most intriguing matchup. If we're talking Usyk Fury, what's that look like?
I think Fury beats him at this point. Maybe not, but I'll go with Fury at this moment in time.
Break it down. In my back voice.
Break it down, bro. Okay, it's kind of hard to break it down because I feel like this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna have a jab fest for a while, and then and that's Fury's thing too. He likes to jab as well. I don't know whether he's gonna choose to fight him at southpaw. I think he's probably gonna. I forgot whether he was good with the jab on southpaw or was he good at orthodox. I can't remember. I forgot. He's gonna choose one of the best ones that he has. He's comfortable with the throwing the jab, and then afterwards, Usyk's gonna throw a pressure on him, and he's gonna go lean on the ropes, and he's gonna try to counter him. He would be successful in certain cases, not all cases, and he might hurt Usyk every now and then. Usyk might hurt him every now and then. Goes to decision. He milks it out by maybe a round or two.
How good is Fury at turning?
What's up?
How good is Tyson Fury if you turn him?
If you turn him, was turn him like the way we saw with Errol Spence and Porter, like that kind of stuff.
Change the angle, yeah, basically what he does. Same thing as you're referring to the Porter fight.
He can catch you when you're doing that shit too as well. He can catch you when you're doing it.
If you watch the Tyson Fury fight with Kevin Johnson, I was amazed because Fury at that time in his career, he had, like, I kid you not, Lomachenko type footwork. There were instances where he was doing what Lomachenko does right now, like amazing type stuff. I haven't seen that since. I don't think it's there anymore, man. Because why wouldn't he use it against Wilder? He kind of did a little bit, but it just wasn't the same. So, in my opinion, Fury's gonna try to box, do this, and then he'll realize, just like he did with Cunningham, that he can't box with this little dude, and he's gonna come forward and try to bulldoze him down. And I would tell him to do that from the beginning, period. But I think he's gonna try to make it an ugly, dirty, physical fight because he'll realize that he can't box with this dude. He even said that I forget what it was exactly, but he was talking about cruiserweights and little guys, saying how us big guys, we can't outbox these dudes. They're too quick. They're this and that. That's why I had to fight him the way I did, because I couldn't outbox the man. I think he even said Cunningham was a better boxer than something along those lines. And I
It's
mean,
funny
imagine
though. He
Usyk.
says that. Thing is precise. He says that though. When I watched Cunningham and him, he was fucking him up though. He got caught with that right hand, but he was fucking him up. He was destroying him.
After he went after him, grabbed a hold of him and started mauling him, yeah, he fucked him up. But when they were just standing off at a distance and boxing, it was pretty even.
And it goes back to the whole thing. Like, okay, he said that, but I don't know why. He's inconsistent with his words. I don't know the real reason. He said, well, maybe I can beat Usyk with one hand tied behind my back.
How many
That's
have you got?
just hype, man. That's just hype.
Yeah.
Maybe Ruiz, he can actually do that too because of the reach that he has. He can probably tie his hand. It's possible. It's not out. It's not like it's impossible for him to do that, because look what he says. This type of things. He usually says like, I can fight my fight, and where I jab you out and make it a boring ass fight, and I win on the scorecards. But sometimes he likes to mix it up and get close, because he gets tired of that same shit. Because he could just he can just beat you by just jabbing you out in the far, just like how he did Klitschko.
Fury's good, but like that Klitschko victory, that wasn't a dominant win. He eked out these rounds by the thinnest of margins, being very careful, running at points. Like, he won the fight legitimately, but that wasn't a dominant boxing masterpiece and all that shit. He looks like $1 million against guys that can't box, but dudes that actually have boxing skill, I don't know, man.
Oh man, to me that was a dominant performance. I didn't even give a round to Klitschko in that fight. It was like he fucked him up. It was like nothing Klitschko could have done to work on him, bro. Like nothing worked on him, bro. Like he didn't do nothing. And then he hurt him in the 11th round.
He
hurt him in the 11th.
He won the fight clearly, but he wasn't winning rounds by a big margin. He was winning by like a punch or two. That wasn't he won the fight clearly, but he did not dominate Klitschko. He dominated the fight, but he did not dominate his opponent, man. And Klitschko hurt him too. Don't forget that.
He probably did. I'm not saying he didn't, because he did land punches, but that 11th round, man, he had Klitschko on clear streak. I don't know what happened. The ref stepped in at that moment, because Klitschko was the A side. I have no idea. I forgot. This is a while back. The last time I watched that fight. Yeah, that's what happened in that fight. From what I remember, every round he won. I didn't do a punch count to know how many punches were landed from either guy. So, but to me, he landed more in every single round than Klitschko. That's for sure.
He did, but like by one or two. What'd you say? Fuck. Corruption.
I'm just saying, Tyson Fury was actually missing a hell of a lot of punches in that. They weren't clear flush punches. They were just wild punches from crazy angles that were barely even hitting Klitschko flush.
He looked like Andre, didn't he? He looked like Andre in that fight, man. Just this wild, crazy shit from out of left field, and he won. He clearly won the fight, but that was not dominant performance, and he ducked the rematch.
Exactly. Klitschko invoked his rematch clause pretty much immediately. Tyson Fury.
Nordic saying he fouled him a lot. I don't know about that, bro. I didn't see a lot of fouls from either guy, actually. Maybe it was a few, but I didn't see much fouls going on.
He was hitting Klitschko with the open glove because he was so afraid to get close to him. He wanted his punches to be as long as possible, so he wasn't even turning them over. He was just hitting with the palm and like the small knuckles of the glove. It wasn't impressive.
Tyson Fury's slapping, that makes Sergey Derminchenko look like fucking like Marvin Hagler, man.
He does slap a lot,
man. When you talk about him slapping, I think it's his southpaw stance that he takes. He fights both stances. I think when he fights at southpaw, he kind of, I think he's a lefty too. So when he fights on southpaw, he's not that good with the
he's not. His jab from the southpaw stance is limp.
Yeah, that's probably why he does that. But on the orthodox stance, he's actually pretty efficient with his jab. It lands knuckle. It's
because
the position that he takes. It's the position he takes pretty much.
Because from southpaw, he only fights southpaw from mid-range, so he tends to square up his feet a lot more and shorten that right hand, that lead hand, so it's not that effective at all.
But at southpaw though, he has some good counters. He has some phenomenal counters. That's what he did to what's his name, Schwartz. He has some phenomenal counters. That's why he chooses to take that path. But in orthodox, he's more of a jabber.
But I really think if he is to fight Usyk, the way to fight Usyk for him is to push Usyk back and maul him, basically. It may be counterintuitive. I may be wrong. But I think standing off at a distance, looking to outbox Usyk, I just don't see that happening for him. He has to use his size, strength advantages, and he has to be dirty, and he basically has to cheat.
Yeah, basically for Fury on the inside, if he were to turn his punches over, it would take too much time. In other words, if only by a fraction of seconds, it's easier to slap and put combinations together than turn them punches over. He's just so big that he would lose. He would have a lot of holes on the inside to get countered.
I mean, Otto Wallin was able to find Fury at will with that left hand after the 6th round. Even when he was, when Wallin made the mistake that initially when he was targeting the body, he was having success, but when he opened up the cut, I guess he focused his attacks and thinking maybe I can get the stopping by not only using legitimate tactics but also using illegitimate tactics to try and exacerbate that cut. So he gave up that body attack later on, which I think was a mistake, just targeting it, using headshots. But these headshots.
This is what I saw in that fight. In the first 2 rounds, Fury was letting him come in, and every time he came in, he would throw a few body shots. Either some of them blocked, some landed, and then he would get countered. He would counter and he hesitate to throw, and then he would come back again. He's like, "Oh, it's kind of working, so let me just go ahead and hit him in the body again because I'm having a hard time hitting him in the face. So let me go ahead and hit him in the body again." And then he would hit 1 or 2, and then get countered 2 shots, 2 or 1 shot.
And Fury's like pretty good at that, and he could do it against the Chisora back in the day. But that's how he got cut against Wallin. That's when he was in trouble, is when Wallin had him on the ropes and was beating on him. And I don't know if you guys noticed in this fight with Usyk, like how quick his combinations were on the ropes. If Fury tries to rope-a-dope against Usyk, that's not going to work, man. He's too fast for all that fancy shit that Tyson Fury likes to do. Because if these slow guys could hit him doing that, they'll miss 4 or 5 punches, but they'll hit him with like 1.5, 2. Usyk, if he gets him on the ropes and starts unloading like that, Fury's not going to be able to avoid Usyk's punches, in my opinion. So that's why I'm saying he has to come forward and push Usyk back instead of... Because Usyk's a fighter, man. He will sit back, he will circle, and if you give him something to think about, maybe he'll even fight the whole fight that way. But at some point, he's going to come forward, get under the jab, go to the body, come upstairs. He's a fighter, man. He wants to break you down and knock you out.
It's a tough one to call. That fight is kind of tough to call. That's all I gotta say. I favor Fury, but you never know. Usyk can pull it off.
I think that's what it comes down to. The mindset of the 2 fighters, and Precise actually hit the mark. Usyk's a fighter, whereas Tyson Fury, by his own genetic trait, he's a defensive fighter. He's a safety first fighter. That's the way he's always operated throughout his career. And I think it's Usyk's his nature, his generic nature is to fight. And when he uncorks that hand speed,
is it me or Corruption's cutting off?
No, it's you. Corruption sounds fine.
Gypsy, man, you got a hell of a timing to interrupt, man.
Yeah, he's losing his... what the hell? Go ahead, Corruption.
I can't even remember what the fuck I was saying now.
Jesus.
Thanks, Gypsy.
Anyway,
we appreciate it.
Gypsy.
Genetic makeup of these, who they are by blood, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's the hand speed we were touching upon later on, which you mentioned a little bit. We saw elements of that in this fight, but when he uncooks at hand speed, he's got hand speed like, Andy Ruiz, and he can fire off 10, 15 punches just in the blink of an eye and just pivot the fuck out the way. So when he has a Fury like that on the ropes, it's going to be problematic for Fury. Back to you guys.
All right, guys, we're gonna end the show now.
Bro. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You get a yellow card now, Gypsy. All right. But yeah, no, guys, great show. We're gonna end it. But everyone in the chat, we will be having another show, and hopefully on Wednesday we have the trivia show, the match between Thunderdome and Jimmy. So stay tuned for that.
All right, peace, everybody. Good show. Take it easy.
Yep, everybody, take care. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, we'll see you.
Everybody on the panel and on the chat as well.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us, and
everyone of you.
stay tuned for more BDA boxing.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry. One more time. I'm disappointed in everyone of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone of you. Disappointed in everyone of you. All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in everyone of you. Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're heavy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're heavy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.